Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Shonen Grump. Can I take your order?
I don't even know. Yeah, I'll have a Splatoon sandwich slider.
Splatoon sandwich. I don't want to sell a Splatoon sandwich. That sounds gross.
Yeah, well, it's just a multicolored one, just the different. Never mind. Okay, well, anyway, I'll have a. Okay, if you're not gonna sell that, then I'll have a.
What colors? What colors are in Splatoon? It's blue and orange, right?
Those are like the standard colors, but there's
Yeah.
like all kinds. There's like pink and like bright green and like. Yeah.
I'd want to go on the green team every time. Green's my favorite color.
I know you don't. You never get to choose though. That's the thing.
Oh, that's so frustrating. I would
You just
hate
get
to be on like a team. I wouldn't want to be on orange team. See, Overwatch keeps it simple. You're either on the blue team and then you kill the red team.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
pretty,
Sauerbraten.
That makes sense. Oh
You-
yeah,
you're
Sauerbraten
on the blue team.
Wiener Schnitzel, as I like to call
Wiener
it.
Schnitzel, yeah. You have to kill the red team. Don't kill the blue team. I should download that game again. When I
Yeah.
changed computers, I had to, it got removed, so I should download it again and play.
Yeah, that game was that. It's just it. I don't even know like where to begin talking about that game. Like it was so bad, but like in the best possible way.
Yeah, it was like charming.
Yeah, because like the game runs at like 250 frames per second.
Yes, but it looks like it's made out of modeling clay.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Like a 4-year-old made it out of modeling clay and Minecraft blocks.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But boy, I mean,
Boy, did it run.
yeah, it ran. You can say that again. Yeah, but we had
hours.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Like whole entire floor getting together
In one server. One poor server
Yeah,
of just random people, and then it just got flooded with 16 guys. And
Yeah.
we were all yelling at each other down the hallway. And
Yeah,
then
that was a
like
lot of
making
fun.
fun of other people in the game. That was so great.
yeah,
Oh.
it was great. And
I want to play Sauerbraten again now.
yeah, me and Matt would just call it just a bunch of German participle
Yeah, random German sounding
Yeah.
words.
Yes, the
Guten
sour
Tagen.
Sauerkritzken, or
Sour-
you know, be like
Sauerkrater. Ich bin ein Berliner.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, we did that with random stuff, anyways. I'd be like, so what are you having for? He's like, I'm gonna get some Suppenfaust, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
or some, or some Panzer steak. And it's
Panzer
like,
steak.
yeah,
Oh man,
steak Krieg.
Matt Steak Creek. Matt, what
I
an
miss-
individual.
Yeah, I know, he's such a great guy.
Oh, he
I
was
love
great.
him.
Okay. Anyway, in any case, for
Hello,
real, though,
everybody.
hello everyone. Welcome to Shonen Grump. I'm not going to take your order because this isn't a drive-through, but we're happy to have you.
Yes,
We're happy to be speaking directly into your ear holes.
yes, with our bass baritone voices.
Oh, we should do names because in the past 4 episodes we haven't introduced ourselves.
I don't think we have. I think we maybe did in the first episode, but like I guess maybe we really haven't. Like
Yeah.
in most of the other ones.
Yeah, so I'll go first since it's my idea.
Yes.
My name is Chris,
And I'm Alec.
and we are Shonen Grump. So for
Woo!
the first time after 5 episodes, you'll now be able to identify our voices with a name.
I know, right? Took us long enough to get there.
For real. We're
Yeah, that's funny.
we're new, but we were on the radio and we had like our name on the screen when people would look it up because they listen to our show through the internet, like run by our school, and it would have our photos and our names on there. So we just never introduced ourselves. But now, like we have like pictures and our logo up there, so people don't know what we look like or what our names are. So we should probably introduce ourselves at the start of every episode.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. At least until we get people who recognize us.
Yeah.
Which is not going to ever probably happen, but
Yeah,
hey.
and
we
to be
can
fair,
dream.
there are still professional podcasts or professional quote unquote. Like Two Best Friends, people still can't tell apart a couple of them. And they've stopped doing names at the beginning because they're in episode like 152 was the last one that came out, and so they stopped doing names a long time ago, and people still can't tell them apart.
That's interesting. Like, a lot of the time you don't run into that problem.
Yeah.
But though it's funny you should mention that, because there's a talk. There's like a morning radio show that I listen to on my way into work. You know, the wacky kind of radio stuff.
Yeah.
It can get kind of annoying, but like sometimes they can be pretty funny. But the two women that are on it, for the longest time, I could not tell them apart. They sounded exactly
the same.
And it took like because they rarely like had both of them on at the same time, so it was like it got so confusing to me for a while, and I was like, wait, is this that one or is this the other one?
Yeah, some radio voices sound incredibly the same.
Yeah, and it was weird. So like it took them being in the same like span, like in the same like part of the episode they were recording, or the same morning they were recording, you know, whatever. And it took them being like, okay, this is Laura and this is Kayla, you know, like I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. All right,
yeah.
All right. Finally, I can, because they do still sound like really similar to me, but like I can kind of figure them out now. So I don't know. Probably some people don't know. Like, that, hey, is Alec still talking? Just so you know.
And Chris hasn't said anything in a while.
So anyway, yes.
All right. Why don't we get into our show then?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Should.
How was your week?
My week was pretty good, but I didn't play hardly any games at all, and I didn't really watch any anime. So, how was your week? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Did you do anything unrelated to games and anime that you could mention?
Yeah. I went to a Red Sox game yesterday.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of like looming threat of rain most of the day, but it held off, which is good. They won,
which is also good. Where'd you sit?
Which is great. We sat in the right field box.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were really good seats, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never really sat like exactly in that. I've sat over in right field probably more than any other place in the ballpark. I want to say maybe center field, maybe more. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I'd ever been that far down before. We weren't like super far down, but it was still close. It was still like felt pretty close. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the last game I went to was actually in it was back in May with it was our like senior class trip. So we got seats out in the right field stands, kind of like by the visiting bullpen. And then the other game I'd been to before that was actually in the right field boxes, kind of where you sat, except we were like way down close. Like we could have reached out and touched. What was his name? The right fielder. I forget his name. Napoli.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We could have like reached out and touched him if we wanted to. I went with one of my ex-girlfriends. But it's such a nice park, isn't it, Fenway?
I love Fenway so much. Like, I still kind of like every time I walk into that place, I still have like a throwback to when I was like 8, walking in it the first time.
Oh yeah, I remember my first game.
Yeah,
we sat over by. My first game we sat kind of behind the bullpens too. It was for my birthday, and the Red Sox were playing the Mariners, and they were kind of in like a skid. Mm-hmm. So I was there with like my whole entire first grade class, and it went to the 10th inning, and then Manny Ramirez hit not a grand slam, I think it was a 2-run homer off the Coke bottles that used to be on top of the Green Monster.
Oh yeah.
And we just went nuts, and I was so short I didn't see what had happened. Everybody just stood up and started freaking out, and I was like, it was so loud, and like everybody was panicking. I started panicking, and my mom was like, "They won!" And it was awesome. I got my name on the big screen for having my birthday there.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah, I love going to Fenway. I mean, obviously concessions and stuff are like, well, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But it was nice because we ate before we went in.
Yeah.
So we just kind of got away with, we got a souvenir soda because those have free refills.
Yes.
And then we got Cheetos popcorn, which is new this year.
Huh.
Which is basically the best thing, the best concession I think I've ever had.
Really?
At something. Yeah. So basically they have like Cheetos in there, but then they've also coated the popcorn with like Cheetos dust. It's so good, dude. So we shared a bag of that, and then we had and they give you a ton of it too. That's the best part.
Yeah.
I guess they should for like $6.50, but they give you a lot of it. So, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I think when I went last, I got a hot dog, and then I got a hot dog, and then I got a burger, and then I just got like drinks and stuff.
Mm.
I didn't have that much money, and we went to we went to Wendy's on the way home. 'Cause we drove.
Oh, you don't do Wendy's anymore.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Not after the incident.
Yeah. I've heard all about that incident. Maybe someday we'll go into it again.
Yeah.
It's not this day.
Yeah, I didn't have that much money to spend at the park, and then we took the blue line in to the green, like from Wonderland, and then we drove.
Oh, yeah.
We drove back to campus. And on the way back, everybody else was like, "Oh, I'm hungry." It was like 4 of us, and I was like, "Okay, well, where do you want to go?" And they were like, "I don't know, just like pull over to Wendy's." And I was like, "All right." so they all ate while I drove, and I think one of them got me something, so it was nice of them. But yeah, it was so expensive in there.
Oh yeah,
but I love
crazy.
going and just like I love being in the city, and I love going to games. I wish I could go to more.
Yeah, just the atmosphere of the games is
because it's such a small park too.
Yeah, there's only like
it's not okay. So it's not a small park, but it feels like it. It's very tight.
I think it is. I think it does have the smallest amount of seating. I want to say it's the smallest ballpark in terms of seating.
It definitely feels like it's tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it only seats not quite 40K, which is kind of small for a stadium.
Yeah.
That, and they don't really. I don't think they've been selling out. I think they've been selling out again this season.
Yeah, because they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, but I don't. They hadn't been for the last couple. They hadn't been selling out every game, which they had done for like over almost 800 games or something in a row. They'd sold out.
Yeah,
it was some Guinness record, I think, actually. But but in any case,
if you can't,
yeah, I love going there. I love just the whole experience and everything. So. And it was great because Koji got to close out. He's my man, Koji Urahara.
Your boy.
My boy. Yeah, I was wearing the shirt and everything. So he was awesome. Did a great pitching job.
Nice.
So yeah, he's been kind of like a little bit shakier this year. So it's always nice to see him when he's on form again. So so yeah, that was cool.
If you can't tell where we're from, listeners, we're from New England.
Yeah, we're big Boston sports fans. So if you don't like that, then that's okay. But we do, so get used to it. Yeah, so it was pretty great. Had a really great time in the city. So
cool. I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, it was cool. So besides that, so I was doing that with my friend Hadley. I went down to visit her this weekend, and we the night before we went to see the BFG.
Oh,
which apparently, from what I gather, has not been performing very well at the box office.
I actually do. I haven't been following that movie, so
yeah. It's based on the Roald Dahl book.
Roald Dahl, yep.
Roald Dahl, yeah, that's a mouthful of a name, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think it got reviewed super well either. I'm not sure if it did or not. but we both really enjoyed it. We thought that it... no, it says it's gotten positive review. I'm looking on Rotten Tomatoes, which gives the sort of general... It has a 72% approval on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's good. But yeah, it's only made in this... I think this is the second weekend it's out. And it's only grossed about $50 million to a $140 million budget. Yeah, this is the second weekend. So it's going to take quite a bit of a push at the box office in order to make back the money, which is kind of too bad because it's a Spielberg film. Yeah,
I saw an
Spielberg
ad for it when
it.
I went to see what movie did I see recently? I forget. X-Men. Yeah, when I went to see X-Men that one time, there was an ad for it.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't really heard anything about it since.
No, I really enjoyed it a lot. I think that I really like. It's funny because I don't think I've ever read a Roald Dahl book.
Really? Matilda?
Yeah. No, never read it. I've seen like pretty much all of the adaptations of them though. I've seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I think the former is better personally, but I like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory okay. Matilda's a great movie. James the Giant Peach. Right?
Yep, he did that one, I'm pretty sure.
It was awesome. Awesome movie. The animation is just spectacular.
Yes, yes it is.
Stop motion. And yeah, it's funny because I don't think I've never read any of his books, but I love that book. They have such a charm to them.
Yes,
they're like, I think some people probably don't like it because they're a little overly sentimental.
Yeah, they do tend to dabble in that sort of area.
Which is interesting because like a lot of the time the subject material is really dark.
Yes.
And grim.
Yes, like I forget the name of it. There's one about this like old couple that like eats people or something. That's
really?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
That's good. Oh, Fantastic Mr. Fox is another one of his. That's one I haven't seen, but I've heard amazing things about that.
Roald Dahl. It starts. What was the name?
Yeah, he's but you can definitely tell his based on all of his works that I've seen and adapted to film. I can definitely see the definite influence he had on J.K. Rowling. In terms of, because he like most if not all of them has a child protagonist being kind of thrust into this magical or mystical sort of world or
that's what it was.
Situation. The Twits?
The Twits. I remember that one because it freaked me out. Anyway, sorry, continue.
The cover is pretty freaky, that one. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at there. Yeah, so I can definitely see the influence that he had on J.K. Rowling, I think. But he... yeah, I really enjoyed the BFG quite a bit. I think... I found it like really, really charming. Just the script and everything about it, which I'm assuming like there were bits and pieces that were taken directly from the book, if not all of it, for all I know.
Yeah.
Because the BFG speaks in a very like. A very strange way, because he's like he's trying to speak English, but it's very like almost like it's like Cockney, except he more just like fuddles up the wording of things. Mm-hmm. And it's very it's really fun in how he speaks and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought I could definitely tell it was a Spielberg film because there were certain shots that were done. There was this amazing shot really early on that like Hadley leaned over to me and Mr. was like, "Wow, the framing of that was amazing." Mm-hmm. And there was like this shot where the girl whose name I don't remember because they don't think she's Sophie. she's looking into this dollhouse, and there's just this shot where it's the perspective is inside the dollhouse, and it's like looking out, looking through the where she's looking into. And so basically she's facing the camera, and it kind of does this like slight zoom in. That's just really great, and it's like, obviously foreshadowing what's going to just happen in a couple minutes when the BFG grabs her. It just, I don't know, like a lot of the movie just felt really nice. The special effects were good, I'd say, for the most part. There were some parts of it that felt they were a little wonky, where you could tell it was like, ooh, that doesn't quite look right when, she's moving around while he's like holding her. It's, it kind of looked sort of funky because you could tell, well, he's not really there, holding her.
Yeah.
Other than moments like that, I would say it was very pretty believable. There was, I don't know. The music was John Williams, which you could tell like immediatay. I was
John Williams.
I was like, yeah, that's definitely John Williams. I could tell that. Oh my gosh, Jermaine Clement was a voice actor, and Bill Hader was a voice actor in it. Hold on, Bill Hader was the blood bottler, one of the other giants, and Jermaine Clement was the flesh lump eater, who was the leader of the man-eating giants. That's funny. I didn't even realize that. So, that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Really, I'd recommend it. I thought it was very enjoyable. It's I think I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't found a footing out there. I think maybe it's probably still getting competition from Finding Dory.
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
That's probably still. I'd say if you've seen Finding Dory, but you still really want to go see a movie, just check out the BFG. Or if you have no interest in Finding Dory, which honestly, it was okay. I saw it. I enjoyed it. Finding Dory. I don't know if I talked about that or if I was in one of the episodes.
Oh, one of the lost episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the lost episodes. And it was good. It was definitely a callback, or like a real. It was for Finding Nemo fans, for sure. Other than that, it was kind of like, it was good. I don't really need to go see it again, though. Because I think she, like, when we were talking about it, she was like, oh, we were talking about, like, what we wanted to go see, and I was like, I don't really need to go see that. And she had just seen Tarzan.
Oh, yeah.
And she said that was really not very good.
Oh.
It was disappointing, I think she said. Because I think the concept is interesting, because in the books by what's his face there, his name I can't remember.
I can't either.
The author of them.
Yeah.
I just thought Frank Lloyd Wright, except he's an architect, so that's clearly not right. But in the books, Tarzan does get like domesticated, quote unquote. He comes in, lives in Britain for a while, but then he goes back to the jungle later on in like later books and stuff. So
yeah, and
it was kind of the idea is that I guess in this movie they're basically taking a civilized Tarzan and bringing him back to the jungle. But apparently it just wasn't very good. So just too bad. But oh well, you can't win them all. You can't be the BFG all the time.
Nope.
Which is kind of too bad, because I think that's not going to do very very well. Which is crazy, because it's a Spielberg film. It's a Roald Dahl book that's pretty well known. So that's really surprising to me that it's not doing better. But you can't win them all in the box office, I guess.
Oh
yeah, and then there's also Independence Day Resurgence or whatever.
Yeah,
is also out there, which I think that's probably making a lot of money for no reason.
I heard it was a good sequel to Independence Day. It hit all the right marks for action movie, the same way Independence Day did.
I have a friend of mine who was a big Independence Day fan, did not like it at all. Actually, which is interesting. I'm not sure like what the thing is, because I don't really like Independence Day, so I just have no interest in it at all. So, but I don't know go see the BFG. If you're thinking about going to see Independence Day, go see the BFG.
There you go.
So
signed and sealed from Alec straight to you. The recommendation.
I really enjoyed it. That's all. That's all you can get from it, I'm sure. So that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Didn't do any.
Oh, I did. I found there's a new-ish retro game store in like the town I work in.
Oh,
or,
cool.
Like right near the town I work in. Yeah, and it is kind of cool. It's called One Last Life, which is cool.
It's a solid name.
Yeah, I like the name of the store. When you walk in, it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff because you can tell the guy's still getting set up, but he also is trying to make it feel like it's just like a natural kind of environment.
Yeah.
Also, and he's got a decent selection of stuff. There's things here and there, but he says that like I asked him for like a couple like if he had Secret of Mana or some other games that I knew were rare and more expensive, but I still was interested in just seeing if he had them around. And he's like, no, those get bought up really quickly by one of the guys who works here. And I was like, oh,
well, he shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, okay. There was a couple other things. They had a figure, like Play Arts Kai figures of Lightning and Vanille from Final Fantasy 13, and
hey, there you go.
I don't have a Vanille one, but he didn't have the box. I was like, so I asked him if he had the box, and he said no. He got him in a trade, so I was like, well, so I passed on that because I kind of want them with the I want them with the box. I mean, like even if you open them, if you're a collector, you still kind of need the box.
Yeah.
If you're ever gonna resell them, that's the only way they'll be worth anything. So
yeah.
Even
I still
if you open them.
I have all my figures in boxes at the moment because
Yeah.
I don't have any space for them.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing right now too. I have like a Mega Man X figure I got from a Kickstarter. It was amazing. I love it, but I just don't have any place for it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, my Link on Loftwing statue, which I need to figure out if I can order. If First Four Figures has some like extra wings I can get, because I accidentally, when I was moving it one time, I had to move it out of the room because my brother was nervous that my nieces were gonna like play with it.
Yeah.
Somehow, which would be amazing if they found a way to play with it, because the thing is like
it's taller than them.
Yeah, it's like 10 pounds. So I had to move it, and then one of the wings fell off and broke. So
you know,
yeah, and I was like, then people were like, maybe that's why you shouldn't spend that much money on stuff because it's gonna break. And I was like, yeah, probably not. But
yeah,
I feel like they had enough of a stock of them that I could probably like contact them and get a replacement wing for it, which would be nice because that would keep the value of that back. That's the great part about those is that they do have removable parts, so the whole thing's not ruined. It's just one part of it.
Yeah, and you can replace it.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't actually know if I can or not. I should contact them, but
yeah.
Anyway, so that's cool knowing that game store is there. They do have some modern stuff too, so if I'm stymied at GameStop, I might go over there. But overall, the prices were pretty much eBay prices and GameStop prices, like GameStop prices with like a slight discount on them,
mm-hmm.
and they were sort of eBay prices for the retro stuff. So it was like, you can't really. It's sad because you can't really win anymore in terms of the retro stuff.
Right.
Everybody knows about the internet. You can't really find deals on stuff like that, and it's rough. It sucks because like I really want like there's some Super Nintendo games I really want, but it's like when you're charging like $20 for Mario All-Stars, it's like that game's like you could find like hundreds of those cartridges.
Right.
Like, there's no reason, other than the fact that it has Mario on it, it has no reason to be that much money. Like, I wouldn't pay more than $10 for that.
Yeah. Probably
not more than $5. It's very common. and like the common stuff like that, I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
However, Star Fox was there for 15, and I was like, that's a pretty good price for that.
Yeah,
I thought
sure, that sure is.
Star Fox for the Super Nintendo, I thought that was pretty good, but yeah, there's some other ones like Mario RPG was like 45 or 50, and they had a boxed Donkey Kong. I think it was for 50, the boxed one, which I was a little surprised about. But Donkey Kong Country was another. It was also like pretty plentiful. So, but yeah, it's cool. It's nice to just at least go down and peruse. So
yeah,
it's neat.
Nice. I'm glad you have that place up there for you to go see.
Yeah, there's a place down around near you, I think.
Yeah, it's in Boston. I'd have to go.
Oh, I think there's a place in Salem.
Oh, really?
Because we went to it. Yeah, I went to it one time. I looked up like a retro game store, like just using Google.
Oh, I think one of my buddies knows where that is. I might have to get him to tell me where that is. I know about a place in Boston that sells like more niche kind of collectible things, including games and manga and stuff.
Oh, okay, rad.
So I have a business card for them somewhere in my pile of Comic-Con loot in the corner. I could dig it out and find it later. But cool.
That's good. Nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've talked long enough. How was your week? What'd you do? What'd you get up to?
I didn't really have a week either. Aside from I played Overwatch and Pokemon Go came out, which we're going to talk about later. Do you want me to talk about my Pokemon Go experience now, or wait till the news segment where we talk about that then?
I guess we might as well just like have a little discussion right now.
Sure.
If you don't have anything else to talk about,
I honestly don't. I just had I had a bunch of friends over. We hung out and played Mario Kart. But there's not really much to talk about there. We just tried to do races and stuff. We played Smash. I popped open Guilty Gear Xrd for my PS4 and played a couple matches against them.
Dude, nice.
Other than that, I didn't do a whole lot this week. I was just working and trying to work and planning for the parties I had and stuff. So, you want to talk about Pokemon Go before we get into like the rest of the news? We'll just kind of bump that to the front.
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be good. We should talk about it. We should definitely have a little segment just on that. I think, because it'll be good to talk about. Because obviously, the entire internet is ablaze.
Mm-hmm. The entire world.
The entire world
of Japan and North America is ablaze.
Dude, the UK and Australia are crazy for it. Like I've been seeing like all kinds of stuff from UK friends and like people in Australia getting into it.
Nice. Yeah, I was actually like Pokemon Go came out and it's crazy. It's this phone app where you can use GPS to walk around like your town or go to a city and just like go out of your house, and Pokemon will show up randomly in the environment. Landmarks and places to be are all marked with these things called Pokestops. They're like little checkpoints that you can go to and get items, more Pokeballs or healing items, or even eggs to hatch new Pokemon from. And then other landmarks are gyms that you can go to and you can battle against other people's Pokemon and kind of like claim control of the gym and become the gym leader until somebody beats you and then you get unseated. And it's basically what I've wanted since I was 8 years old. Pokemon.
I know, right?
It is. Pokemon is almost real, Alec. It's like so close to being real, and I love it. I've never had more fun just wandering in my entire life.
I think this is kind of what I've always kind of like wanted when I got into Pokemon. I didn't get it until I was in 6th grade or something.
Yeah.
It was like Gen 3 was first starting to come out. Mm-hmm. And me and one of my friends, basically every recess for like in the springtime, after we went on our marbles craze, where we basically did adventure marbles, which was awesome. Maybe I'll go into that someday. But, because I don't think I've really told too many people about that. But
no.
No, dude, these was awesome.
I believe you. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I've never heard
see that coming.
Before.
Did
no,
you?
I really didn't. You caught me completely by surprise.
Yeah. So we had this idea. Basically, we role played a Pokemon sort of like story, basically, where we sort of made up scenarios, and we had, obviously, we were the trainers, and we went to different areas and stuff, and
I did the same exact thing when I was
yeah, we'd name our Pokemon. I don't know how much we'd nickname our Pokemon. I don't remember how in depth we got with that, but I remember we had a lot of fun, like crafting stories around them. And I remember that Karen of the Elite Four was my girlfriend, which I don't know why. I love Dark type. I've always loved Dark type, so I think that's probably why. And I was like, hey, she's hot. I was like, look at that little sprite. Look at her. So I don't know. That was funny. That's one thing I can remember. But yeah, I remember using the monkey bars as like the way the monkey bars were shaped at the school. That was like kind of a long box, and then like a cloverleaf shape on each end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the cloverleaf shape were like transporters or portals, basically, we'd use.
Yeah.
Where we'd like lock into it and it would like transport us to one of the other areas, and like we used that. That was like our home base or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think another one of them was the PC where we'd leave our Pokemon. Basically, all this to say, this is basically reminding me of that.
Yes, Pokemon Go is exactly what we have wanted since
Yeah.
the days when we were little, pretending Pokemon were out in our real world that we could go and interact with. Now we literally can. I walked my dog, and I was just walking down the street, and then a Pokemon showed up. And the way it works is when there's a Pokemon show up in your little map, you can tap it, and then it'll open your phone's camera and show the environment wherever the camera's pointed with the Pokemon just sitting there. And then you can throw Pokeballs at it, catch it. And I'm like, oh, there's actually a Rattata on the street in front of me, and I throw Pokeballs at it, and I catch it, and I'd be like, yes, I got a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fun. It just makes me feel good in my core, like in the essence of who I am. I've wanted this my entire life, and now I can actually do it. It just is so fun. It's so fun, and it's no surprise that everybody is getting super excited about it.
Yeah, people who it's funny because Hadley was seeing more people on her Facebook. I mean, she's got like 700, 800 friends because of all the theater stuff she's done.
Yeah,
but like she was like, "That's my entire newsfeed," and I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Well, I've seen a lot on my newsfeed, but I haven't seen that much." She's like, "That is my entire newsfeed," and she was scrolling down. Literally every post was about Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
and I was like, and she's like, "I don't think like half these people have even like played Pokemon before."
No,
and like
you know what
everyone's
happens?
Just getting excited about it.
When people go to search for apps on their app stores, I know on the iOS store, I walked down. My mom texted me and said, "Can you come downstairs for a minute?" So I did. And she's like, I saw this app. It's called Pokemon Go, and I know you like Pokemon. Could you help me like set it up and use it? So my mom is playing Pokemon Go. This woman,
That's awesome.
This woman, I love her. She calls them all Pikachu, or she calls them Pokemans. Like, she has no idea, but there she is. She made her little avatar, and she even caught a couple. And I'm like, wow, Mom. That everybody is doing it. I had a couple friends who went and just drove around the North Shore and just went to different towns and tried to see what kind of Pokemon there were. And they were paused at a gym they were trying to figure out how the gyms work. And somebody rolled by on the street and clicked their window down and went, "Hey, that's my gym!" And then drove away, and they looked at the name, and it updated the Pokemon level on the thing. Because the guy was in the air. Like, everybody's doing it, and everybody's out, everybody's on their phone. I walked by somebody while I was walking the dog, and they didn't have their phone out, but they were like, "You playing Pokemon Go?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Yeah, my phone's dead at my house because I was playing it too much today." It is like a phenomenon that has been released.
Yeah, and I knew it was going to be like that from that first trailer.
Yeah,
because that first trailer was so hype.
One of the kids in the commercial for it used to live around me. His dad used to coach at our college. Coach
Really?
soccer. Yeah.
Really, I loved that trailer. I thought it was great.
Yeah. The kid that
like
the kid that walks up to the water fountain and holds his phone up.
Mm-hmm.
That's who it is. He flew out to LA to become an actor. I guess this is his first role. So he got that commercial deal.
That's awesome. I thought it was great because that showed to me that like was showing how Pokemon is just for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody loves it and can be a part of it. And,
yeah.
So yeah, I think there's some things that I don't really care for so much about it. One thing being, it really doesn't explain things at times.
No.
Like, there's a lot of it that you just kind of have to figure out for yourself.
My friends and I, we went out, we walked about 3 miles from his house down into the downtown part of where I live. And the whole time we were like catching stuff and comparing with each other what we got and trying to figure out what all the numbers meant. And by the time we got back to his house, we knew a lot more and we figured stuff out and we started actually trying like what we thought would work, like the leveling system and the versus evolution and how you can actually, how like different items work and how the gyms work. And we managed to figure out a decent amount of stuff, but it was through a lot of trial and error in terms of trying to figure out, okay, so if I give this many candies to increase this Pokemon's CP, if I give this Pidgey enough candies to increase its CP to 115, and then I evolve it, it will make the Pidgeotto more powerful than if I evolve the Pidgeotto first and then give it the candies.
Okay.
So there's merit to there's a merit to boosting CP of unevolved Pokemon. Then when you evolve it, it gets more powerful, and the little slider bar shows what percentage of its max CP is available to you. So you can max it out, and then if you level it up, it will be already or not level up, evolve it. It'll be at its max for that next evolution as well, and so on and so forth until it's done evolving. So
that's definitely good to know because that's something I wasn't totally clear on.
There's a lot of unexplained tech.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty common thing. I know some friends of mine were getting kind of frustrated with it because of that, actually, because they were like, I almost feel that maybe part of it could have been just really lazy or poor design, but I think part of it also could be they kind of just want you to go out and have your own Pokemon adventure and figure it out as you go, kind of thing. Because like that's sort of like what we always imagined what it would be like. Like in the games, you're sort of railroaded on a certain. At least at the very beginning, you're sort of railroaded on a certain way before you can kind of go explore and make your own adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this, it's like go out in the world and figure stuff out.
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Because they didn't explain really how gyms worked, like until I reached level 5 finally, and then they're like, "Oh, you can do gyms now," and they were like, "This is you part of a team, and this is the sort of thing you can do." And I was like, "Oh, okay, now I guess that makes sense now," but I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had figured out how gyms worked before I went out and walked with them, and I ended up reaching level 5, and I joined Team Instinct because that's the best team.
Yeah, so Team Instinct, Team Mystic, and I don't remember the other one.
It starts with. I feel like it starts with a V.
Team Valor, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined Team Mystic. I really like Articuno a lot. Who they team, and I like the figure, the like silhouette of the leader looked the coolest to me.
No, see,
I think that was kind of what I went on because I think it was a lady, but I think Team Valor's was also a lady. So
I don't know. I wanted there was no green one. I always pick green because green's my favorite color.
So do you have a Bulbasaur?
No, I have a Squirtle.
Oh,
because yeah.
Come on now.
Well, typing is different than color.
Okay, that's true.
So,
that's true.
But I really wanted to be on Team Green. When I heard that there were teams like Team Blue, Team Red, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be on Team Green because, that's the colors of the games.
Yeah, right, but no.
But no, it was Team Red Blue.
But
It
no.
was Red Blue Yellow, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess I'll be on the yellow team. Nobody in my town seems to be on the yellow team, although I just saw that a bunch of yellow team people had taken over the gyms downtown from Team Blue.
See, okay, so that's another thing that I also wasn't aware of. And I guess I kind of should have been able to figure it out because when I was actually at the actual gym, like when I was working out,
Yes.
I across the street from me was like a little mall,
Mhm.
and over there was a gym location.
Yes.
And I noticed there was a Pidgeotto flying above it. I didn't really know what that meant though.
Oh, do you want to know what it means?
Yeah, I would love
So
to know.
the way
what it
that
means.
the gyms work are, the gyms are controlled by whoever has won last.
Yes.
So
Okay.
and
Makes
you
sense.
can challenge the gym. You can challenge any gym, but if you challenge a team that isn't your own, you have a chance to take that gym for your color, your team. If you challenge a gym that's your own color, you can then leave extra Pokemon there. So when you win, you have to leave whatever Pokemon you leave one Pokemon as the gym battle, and then other people from your team can leave their Pokemon as a gym battle. So you have to people who try and take it over have to fight through all of your team's Pokemon to try and win the thing.
Yeah.
So you can leave like a 3 because they're pretty common. Like Pidgeys are common, so I've seen a lot of Pidgeotos and a lot of Raticates as the gym leader Pokemon. But you can get them up to rank the gyms are ranked based on how many Pokemon you'd have to fight to take it over, or become the new gym leader. So there's ranks 1 through 6, and I haven't seen that many rank 6 gyms. I've seen 3 or 4 ranks, and they order them based on weakest to most powerful in terms of who the gym leader would be. So, and then if the gym is controlled by your team, you can train your Pokemon there, which is just you get to level them up, or quote unquote level them up, boost their CP by battling those people, but it doesn't injure the other, it doesn't injure your Pokemon to do it. You just battle with no, your Pokemon get healed afterwards. So that's the merit of having more gyms, is you can help your teammates get stronger to take over more gyms.
Well, that's good to know because there are a couple gyms just right down the road here from me that I've not been claimed at all. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I need to go claim some gyms for my team.
Yeah.
So
And then just know that someone from Teen Instinct is going to take them from you.
yeah, Chris is like, hey, when I come up and
Gold
visit,
team
if
rules.
I do someday, it's taken.
Cool.
Gold team
Who
rules.
is your... Hold on. Who are your top 5 highest CP Pokemon? Let me get out my list.
Here we can. I'll open the app here. You can see. Oh, it's already open. Cool.
Top 5.
Top 5. Okay, I have my Eevee is my number 1. It's 118 CP. Number 2 is my Electabuzz, which was just roaming around my backyard, which was 88. Number 3 is my Paris, 75 CP. My 4 is my Clefairy, who has 67 CP. And my 5 is my Bulbasaur, who has a 58 CP.
Nice.
Yep. So I still have a lot to go. I know some people that have evolved tons of Pokemon, and yeah, it
Someone
is
like
definitely,
me.
yeah, has evolved all their Pokemon and walked around and has 200 and 300, 400 CP, everything, and I was like, how?
Yeah.
And apparently, if you live in the city, you can probably just go on a mile, sort of a mile circuit.
Yeah.
Where you can just be like, there we go, and I got all these Pokestops, and I got all kinds of items and things.
Yeah, and you can also just, you can find Pokemon with really high CPs just out in the wild.
Yeah, that Eevee I caught was that's all it had.
Mm-hmm.
It had the 118. And
There's also a weird mechanic with catching, or Pokemon capturing, where Pokemon with higher CPs will be further away from your screen, and you'll have to throw the ball farther to get them.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of
And I
that's
don't
interesting.
exactly know what the little reticule on them is. When you like hold the Pokeball, it'll have like the little circle that gets bigger and smaller. I don't
Hmm.
exactly know what that does yet, but I think it's tied to the experience points you get from capturing them.
Yeah, I there's some stuff like some mechanics like that are unclear, and I think there are probably some FAQs that are already people are already trying to already figuring that stuff out.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I was actually surprised that there's so many Pokestops and stuff right around me because I live out in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Like I really do. I live just in a 2,000 person town in New Hampshire. So the fact that it took like the fire station down the road as like a gym, and there's a landmark at the private school that's just down the road here as a landmark as a gym. My church is a is a
Pokestop, yeah.
Pokestop, and my library is a Pokestop,
I
and
live right next to a church, so there's a Pokestop in my backyard.
yeah,
And there's sometimes I can kind of cheese the GPS by like locking my phone for like 5 minutes and then unlocking it, and my character will be like, I don't know where I am, and just wander around, and it might wander over like in range of the Pokestop before it comes to rest at where I actually am in my house. So
yeah,
sometimes I can get the Pokestop without leaving my house.
yeah. It's pretty cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, so another thing about this that's pretty interesting. They were really smart in how they designed it, in the fact that you can't. So one of the things you can do is you can get eggs as items,
Yeah.
and you have to walk in order to hatch the
Right.
eggs, much like you do in the normal Pokemon
Yeah, yeah.
games. So one thing you would think would be like, oh well, I'll just get my car and drive 10 kilometers, and boom, there you go, I've hatched an egg. Well, they were a lot smarter than you, and they kept the speed, so they're really encouraging actually you get out and walk.
The speed is capped at a point where you can't even bike. Like biking at over a certain speed will trigger the shut off for the mile count or the kilometer counter. So like it's all walking or jogging or like painfully slow biking. I know a friend that got in her car and went to an abandoned parking lot and drove at 2 miles an hour. Just like she put it in drive and took her foot off the brake and then just like rolled in circles until and like just caught Pokemon until her eggs hatched and stuff. So you have to be going real slow in comparison to like what you might want to do. To like, oh, I just want to get this egg hatched. Like, nope, you got to earn that egg hatch. I went out and walked the dog, and you also have to leave your app open and on in order for the steps to count.
Yeah.
If you shut your phone or close the app or shut the app down, the next time it turns back on, it will just reorient the GPS, and it doesn't account for the distance traveled between the last point. It'll just reorient it and be like, okay, so this point's our new zero. So you have to leave your phone like open and on the whole time, it eats your battery alive.
Yeah. It's funny because it doesn't eat your data, which you think it would,
Yes.
because it's a game. You think that would destroy your data, but it actually is pretty low.
I had it
Key
open.
on
I
that.
had it open for 2 hours straight, and it only used 10 megabytes.
Okay, well that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome then.
So my battery went
Yeah.
from 91% to 4%, but I used how many? Yeah, how many bytes is 10 megabytes? I didn't even use I barely even used 1/10. I used 1/10 of a gigabyte. Like that's nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing on a 16 gigabyte data plan. You could conceivably play this game for like infinitely,
Yeah,
more or
really.
less.
Yeah, it's really cool how it does that. That it doesn't consume a lot of data. I don't. Maybe it has something to do with just the fact that it's using your GPS, or specifically, I don't know how that ties in exactly, but maybe that that's how it
Maybe.
works. I don't know. I don't know how it does it, but
How?
yeah. So
However, they did it. They're geniuses. They gave me exactly what I wanted. I would
Yeah.
love to play this more. I would
Right.
love. I can't wait to have, because I only have 1 GB of data left for this until the 15th. So I can't wait until the next billing period when I have a full 16 gigabytes, and I can play this forever.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I really love it. There's another thing that it's well, now the phone's ringing. I don't know if you can hear that. Yay, phone ringing! Why you have to ring when I'm podcasting and when no one else is around?
You stupid phone.
Yeah. Oh, it's a survey. Now, if it was another podcast, I might answer it. But we're in the middle of Pokemon Go, and that's far more important.
Yes.
So, anyway, what was I saying? I was trying to remember something. There's a little part of me that just wishes there was just a little bit more to it at this moment. I'm wondering if they'll add more functionality and stuff to it as time goes on. One of the things that I thought was really cool in the original trailer that they sort of teased was almost an MMO type aspect.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, where Mewtwo appeared.
Yeah, and you could go into
Basically,
the city and everybody battles in.
Yeah. And I'm really kind of hoping that there is some there's some real ARG type.
Yeah, I'm
stuff
hoping
with
that
it.
at some point you'd be able to battle people, for real, not just leaving a Pokemon at a gym and then you fight a computer. You actually get to walk up to people and interact with them in real time and battle against them. But then again, this is version 0.291. So
yeah, so it was funny because a friend of mine was like, I almost feel like I'm beta testing, and I was like, yeah, I think they did have a beta test, but technically this is version
0.29.1 is what it says.
So
when you
this
boot
sort
the
of
game
really
up.
is. This is still kind of the beta. Yeah. So I think there's still a lot of kinks. There's definitely I think there's a lot of kinks. No, there are definitely kinks that need to be
for
fixed.
sure.
Because,
yeah, definitely.
Because there's just I've had the app when I was in the city. I had the app totally freeze on me a couple of times. There's sometimes where even right now I'm sitting here. I don't have any cell service, but I have full bars of internet, and my GPS is fine. It's just the little loading thing's just spinning, and it's just been spinning ever since I turned it on again.
Yeah, it's happening to me too.
Which means there aren't going to be any Pokemon that are going to appear because it can't happen. So I'm probably going to have to just reset it in order for
Which
it to
is
work.
fine for now
Which is
because we're recording a podcast, Alec.
Yeah, so that's fine for now. But the thing is it can get really frustrating when you're out and about and doing stuff with it. But not only that, but especially on launch day, the servers were so overloaded.
Yes.
I mean, I can imagine that it's probably going to be a problem for a while as more and more people continually get this game and are all on it at the same time. But yeah, so they need to really soup up their servers a little bit more. I've seen there's been so many memes about this. I've seen a lot of SpongeBob based ones. One where it's the caveman SpongeBob, and it's when you've been to a neighborhood that you don't recognize before, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was shows this really shady, poorly lit neighborhood, and then
Caveman SpongeBob
and then the
being
caveman SpongeBob, yeah, basically, or I was I'm trying to get to my back to my house, but I can't because the Snorlax is blocking the road.
Yeah.
And it shows the that's something I haven't encountered any of those yet. I don't know anyone. I don't know personally anyone who has. So I'm sure somebody has somewhere.
Yeah.
But
One of my friends found a Venusaur in his kitchen.
What?
Yeah, he has a
really.
He screenshotted his thing, and I've been to his house many times. that is for sure his kitchen, and that is definitely a Venusaur.
That's nuts. Dude, can you imagine a Venusaur just being like, like, storming its way into your kitchen?
That would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying. A massive dinosaur with a big old flower on its back. It's probably looking for food. Poor thing. You live in a city, and the poor animal's stuck in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, this game is a lot of fun. It is absolutely a phenomenon. Oh, another interesting thing I saw. Apparently, there was a man who was playing it while his wife was on the delivery table, waiting for the doctor to come in to perform the C-section.
Mm-hmm.
So she was waiting to get taken into surgery.
Yeah.
And he's like catching a Pidgey. And then he showed his wife. He's like, "Hey, look, I caught a Pidgey. He was at the foot of your bed." And she was like, he said that she laughed because she understood.
Yeah.
But if I were her, I mean, I don't know. That's probably not going to happen in every case.
No.
Because I feel like some people will probably be like,
"Why are you playing Pokemon when our baby's about to come out of me?"
Yeah. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before like somebody's like using it to like, you know, like it's like a hijacking or something, and someone's like, "Hey, look, there's an Abra on board the plane," and like there's like that's a really terrible to joke about, but I mean, with the internet, there's only a matter of time, you know. It's only a matter of time. Here's a great one. Somebody at a baseball stadium, took a screen cap of, they were like really high up in the stands, and the Lickitung was like really close to them, so it looks like a Lickitung is like on half of the baseball diamond. And it was like, and the caption is, "Lickitung will kill us all."
Oh god.
That's
we
funny.
could talk about this all day.
We really could. It's just such a cool thing. I actually know somebody who upgraded their phone so they can play it. And he was saying, it was funny because he was saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna do it just to play a game." But then I think he saw how literally everyone is playing it, and he was like, "Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
all right, maybe it is time." So.
Do I get to tell you my top 5 Pokemon, or are we just gonna
go for it.
ignore that from?
Yeah,
20
go for it.
minutes ago?
I don't know why you didn't. I thought you were just gonna.
No,
go.
I was
Sorry,
waiting
Ed.
for you to ask.
So, Chris, what are your top 5 CP Pokemon? And
I have
members?
a 385 Pidgeot,
dude, I freaking love
a
Pidgeot.
299 Tauros that I caught raw, fresh out of the wild, 299. A 170 Beedrill that I caught fresh out of the wild, a 164 Eevee that I caught fresh out of the wild, and a 159 Oddish that I caught fresh out of the wild. Those are my top 5, and I'm just about as strong as one of the gyms down the street. So I'm gonna go see if I can give that a go with my Pidgeot.
That's cool.
And I caught a Pidgey while you were talking a minute ago.
You really? Of course you did.
Because my phone buzzed and I looked and it was like, "Hey, there's a Pidgey right next to you," and I was like, "Okay." I caught it. And I can't reach the Pokestop from here, so I'll have to go get more Pokeballs later because I think I'm almost out. Do that later. Okay, we need to move. We need to move on from Pokemon Go because we've been talking about that for like 40 minutes.
So it's good. It could be better, but it's good for now. It's satisfactory for now.
Yeah.
I'd say. So, I look forward to what they do with it in the future. But really cool stuff. So yeah, I guess we can move on to the news.
There's actually a piece of news that has come out today, as of this day that we are recording, the 10th of July. Yeah. And it is related to Overwatch, but it's kind of this is one of those things that like, these are one of the things that I would actually take time to talk about Overwatch with. If just me playing, I'm not going to talk about it. But if there's like real news that's happening, then I'll talk about Overwatch. So today, this day, July 10th, 2016, Overwatch users on PS4 are being hit with a strange and massively disruptive rollback bug. So for those of you who don't know what a rollback bug is, and maybe Alec, you don't even know what this is.
Isn't that when you like lose levels?
Yes, it's when
Yeah.
it's when progress in a game gets literally rolled back to a previous point. Through no action of the user. So like
Yeah, that's happened in Call of Duty sometimes.
yeah,
So.
you'll get to level 10, and then you'll turn on your game the next day, and you'll be at level 5, and all your progress will be gone. So this is happening to Overwatch players on the PlayStation 4 system. People's levels are being reset to varying degrees. There's somebody who reported having they prestiged, and they were almost about to prestige again, which means a prestige is 100 levels. So they were about to prestige a second time. They were at level 188, and their level got rolled back to 88. They lost 100 levels of progress, which is dozens upon dozens of hours of game time.
Yeah.
Just gone. Level 37 down to 21 is another person, and now that person, who is now level 21, can't access the competitive function of the game because you need to pass a soft cap to 25 in order to play competitive. So he lost a key function of the game that he had already been using because his levels got rolled back. People are also losing their ranks in the competitive thing, so your rank is basically your win percentage, based on, and it's calculated with points. People have been knocked points in that, so they'll go from rank like 54 to rank 46 or something like that. And some people even have to do their placement matches again, which determines your base rank, 10 games, and then the percentage of games you win is your ranking. People are having to redo all 10 matches. And also, and I think this is the most egregious part, people are losing unlocked content, which
That's bad.
The content in this game is unlocked by level progression and or purchase. So you can either progress a level. Every time you gain a level, the game rewards you with a loot box that you can then open, and it gives you things such as skins for your character, emotes that you can do with your character, voice lines that your character can say, little like spray paint things that your character can put down on the walls of the different maps. So you either get those after leveling up, you get one, or you can go onto the Blizzard store, the Battle.net store, and purchase these loot boxes in bulk and open them all at once. So some people have spent money on these loot boxes and unlockable content. That content is now gone.
Oh, that's awful.
So not only these people, PS4 users' time, and it's a lot of time. When you start getting up towards triple-digit levels, you've invested like weeks worth of time into this game.
Yeah, that's just...
And their money just gone.
Yeah, that's really bad.
So, as of 2 o'clock in the afternoon on July 10th, Blizzard had not issued any statement or performed any sort of fix for this. Meanwhile, every Overwatch community that I'm a part of just flooded with posts from console users about this. An hour and a half later, it's around 3:30 p.m., a general manager from Blizzard, stated in reply to somebody who had contacted them for support, they stated, and I'll read this quote verbatim, "Yeah, unfortunately we had a huge hiccup. Our dev team is scrambling around like crazy trying to fix this issue." And then 4.5 hours later, at the time of recording, there have been no updates. Still people complaining about levels being reset. Still people saying that they've lost unlocked content. Not a great situation about this. I haven't played since Friday morning. I haven't turned on my PS4 since Friday afternoon. So I don't know what the status of my progress is, but I haven't spent any money on the game, so I would just be losing time. About 24 hours of time. I'm level 34, and I've just unlocked 2 legendary skins, which are extremely rare drops in the random number generator. And I would be so mad if those went away because of this. Hopefully they get it fixed soon. Hopefully they come out and say something about what caused it. But that's really, really too bad for the people who've lost stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I was in your shoes, I don't think I'd play the game till they stated that they fixed it.
Yeah, I don't want to... I'm afraid to turn it on to see... Like, if I turn it on, that increases my risk of it becoming permanent. If it happened to me and I turn it on now, before they've issued a fix, it might be stuck that way, and I'd have to redo all that time that I'd spent.
It's hard to say, like, what they'd be able to do to sort of fix it at this point. Like, I mean, obviously they can fix it because it's just a bug, right? It's something the dev team can fix, but in terms of getting those people all their content back would be that's going to be a lot trickier, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about it, and they must really be panicked to not be communicating at all. Here's the other thing.
You can just imagine, like, it's a Sunday, and I'm sure they're probably not there's
not everybody's there.
They probably don't have the full staff there. I mean, it is Blizzard, so it's a huge company, so they're going to be they'll obviously have people there.
They have somebody there. They had somebody there to reply and give that response that it is, like...
Well, the GM, yeah.
Yeah, the GM was able to give a response, but there's been no communication whatsoever. And here's the other thing that kind of highlights... This is kind of highlighted by this issue. Blizzard has been absolutely terrible about communicating with console users. Just absolutely terrible. For a long time, console users were not able to access Battle.net forums to communicate with people from Blizzard the same way PC users could, because PC users just use Battle.net, and then they can read, the PC reads that they have their Battle.net code, and they can just go on the forums and post. But on a console user, it's not on the laptop, so the Battle.net doesn't work. Straight up not allowed to talk to Blizzard. The patches through... This isn't Blizzard's fault, but the patches for the game come out much, much later than on the PC. And just overall communication about what's going to be in the patches, and what the patching process looks like. People who have issues like this, maybe not this severe, but issues like what's happening now, just nothing. It's very strange and very disappointing. The console users are being treated like a secondhand platform, and the PlayStation users especially have been it's not been as bad as Xbox. Xbox One has it better off than PlayStation users between the two console things as well. Xbox owners didn't have to... Xbox could just plug the game in and play when you get it. PlayStation users had to create a Battle.net thing and then link it to their PSN. Like, extra steps for PS users, less...
Really? They didn't force that on Xbox One?
No.
That's strange.
I have confirmation emails that told me I needed to sign up for Battle.net and connect to Battle.net in order to play Xbox. So I have emails confirming that I had to make a Battle.net account for my PlayStation 4, and connect those two with connect that to my PSN. It's very strange, like the disparity between the two platforms, the two sets of platforms, is very odd. PC is being treated as first-class consumers. You can access Blizzard. Blizzard tells you what's in the patches right away. There's dialogue there. Xbox, you don't get the dialogue, but you don't have to take extra steps. Like, the dividing line between PC and consoles, and then even between Xbox and PlayStation 4, I just don't... It's very weird. And, like, for somebody who doesn't have the option to play it on any other platform, it's kind of disheartening, because I really enjoy the game, but I just wish, like, I don't understand why there is such a difference, you know?
Yeah, that is weird.
And I do understand it to the point of PC is the preferred platform for the game. It's optimized for PC gaming experience. I talked about before, like the controls of certain characters are clearly optimized for a mouse and keyboard. But like other outside of the game, like the gameplay itself, just the way that the account systems work, the user experience, the ability to interact with Blizzard, there's no game chat on any of the console versions. Like even if I plug in a keyboard to my PS4, which exists and I could do, I can't use it. Like I can't type anything to my teams, and there's a very limited amount of ability to communicate. You can either use a mic or you can use the call wheel, which just calls out basic things like hello, understood, thank you, I need healing. Like that's the limit of your communication if people don't have a mic. If you don't have a microphone, and for whatever reason, people just don't use microphones.
You'd think with a team-based something like this, you'd want to use a microphone.
Yeah, and so just things like that. Gameplay aside, the whole experience of owning this game on a console has made me feel like I am a second-class consumer to this company, and that's not a good feeling to have.
No, I think the problem is obviously that Blizzard for so long has just been very primarily a PC developer.
Right.
I mean, they've
okay. So if that is the case, why branch out if you aren't going to support it?
Well, they have dabbled with consoles in the past.
Yeah,
like
Diablo got put on consoles, and
right. Even back in the '90s, I think there were some games that they put out on consoles, but yeah, they do primarily function best with PC stuff, and I wonder if some of it has to do with the understanding of the architecture of these consoles. I don't really know how easy or how hard it is to transfer different sets and different different code for these different console versions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how comparable like the PS4 is to the PC one, or if maybe the Xbox One version's a little easier to transfer in the sense that
transferring controls and assets, they've done a good job. Like the game works, and I can play it at a decent level of skill. There's just an extra level that would be unlocked with mouse and keyboard, just due to nothing that Blizzard can control. It's due to the inputs that I'm able to do. So mapping buttons and skills, like it all works and it functions really well. But it's clear that initially it was intended for one hand to be able to access a certain thing and the other hand to be able to control the camera, whereas you have to be using both hands to do all those things at once. And that's a hardware difference. It's nothing that Blizzard can do.
Right.
They've done the best they can. They've done the best they can with it, and it actually worked. They did a really good job with it, too.
No, I know. I'm talking about code, though. I'm talking about like code in terms of the architecture of the console. So when you're writing code for a PS4, it's going to be a lot different than how you write for the 360 or the Xbox One. Sorry. And you see this in differences between the console versions, which is why Skyrim on the PS3 was a mess, while the 360 version was just fine.
Yes.
And that had to do a lot with how the architecture of the console was built. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with, and I've heard that both of them are supposedly developer friendly, but I'm wondering if there's some problem they have with writing stuff for the PS4, because if I'm remembering correctly, Diablo 3, they had trouble with the PS4 or the PS3 version of Diablo 3 when that came out.
Yeah, but even if there is a problem, why can't
why can't I couldn't tell you.
So if it's even if it's more if it is more
I don't
difficult,
know
why can't
why they wouldn't?
It's so bizarre.
I mean, maybe. I mean, you do think of with a company as big as Blizzard, perhaps their division working on these console versions is not nearly as large as their PC one. I mean, it's probably going to be a smaller team, but like
but that shouldn't matter in terms of ability to access it. You know,
I know. I'm not saying. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's like there's clearly no excuse. Like they really should be communicating as much, but. I'm just wondering if all of those factors kind of have something to do with why they're a little more hesitant to say stuff about it, or I don't know. It's dumb though. I think that's really it's not good on their part to not pay attention to the consumer like that.
Yeah, very weird, and for such a good game, but
yeah.
So no updates right now as to what that problem was or when it'll be fixed, but definitely a bummer for people who lost stuff, and hopefully I didn't lose anything.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it's getting rare drops and skins like that is you want to keep those as much as you can.
Yeah. Oh, the one I got yesterday Friday was so cool. I thought today was Saturday. The one I got Friday was so cool. It's Zenyatta's Ifrit skin, where he's got like a chic turban and a big beard, and he's like all the metal on him is black instead of silver, and he's got like glowy like red magma colored insides, and it looks so awesome. I'll send you a picture of it so you can see.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to see that. That would be cool. So,
why don't you take the next news story while I Google this?
All right. So we'll go into some other news. No Man's Sky, the PS4 game that has been in development and been being teased for a very long time. I think I want to say not this E3, but the one before that, and then the one before that, the game made an appearance at. So this game has been in development for a long time. It's a pretty small studio, Hello Games, I think.
Yeah.
They're a small studio. It's always helmed by this one guy who's very modest, and this game, which in case you haven't heard about, is basically he's created a randomly generated universe in which it would take billions of years to discover everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's massive. And people are only going to be discovering a fragment of this game after it comes out.
He's created space, literally outer space in a video game.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just crazy to think about. And I think the way he's done it, where it can run comfortably, is I think it's a relatively simple art style.
Yeah.
And how he's made it look, but it looks great. Personally,
yes.
I think he's worked it really well, so that it looks really nice.
Mm-hmm. And even after the studio got flooded, you remember that?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That's the other impressive part. So it not only was it this tiny little team, but also halfway through development, their development studio got caught up in a flood, and it destroyed a lot of their work. And so they've been able to redo a lot of what they had, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, the game looks really great, and people have been very excited for this for a long time. So much so that they were getting a little too excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think the guy was getting some death threats.
Release this game
because the game got delayed from I think a couple of months. It was supposed to come out in May or April, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to come out. It went gold as of July 8th.
Yes, and that means that they are printing the discs to sell.
Yeah, that means the game is totally. It's the release version of the game is going to be coming out. So that's coming out. I think the 22nd, or is it next month? This one is coming out.
I don't know the exact date.
Yeah,
I know there's a 22 in it, so it's either this month or next month.
Yeah, it's coming out soon though, and it's I'm pretty excited for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to get it.
I'm gonna have to get a PS4 like soonish.
Yes,
because I really want to play this game.
Yes, play with me.
Basically, it's like from he's still. It's been very under wraps exactly what the goal of this game is, though.
To
That's
go
kind of one
explore space.
Basically, that's the game. And you know what? That's okay. Call me Spaceman Spiff. Because that's totally what I'm going to name my character if I can.
Oh, yeah. You got to get in there early then. Midnight release and turn it on right away.
Yeah. There's going to be Spaceman. There's going to be a lot of Spaceman Spiffs, I think.
You can be Spaceman Spiff 91663 or something like that.
Yeah, well, hey, 9-1, that's my birth year, so...
There you go.
My, see, on Pokemon Go, I'm actually Luca91, because I was like, do I want a male avatar or do I want a female avatar? And I was like, ladies are more fun to look at, so so I made a female avatar. So whenever I do that in games, usually I call myself Luca. Mm-hmm. I either use Chrono from Chrono Trigger or Luca from Chrono Trigger. And so yeah.
I used my Reddit username, which I will not say on here because I don't want people bugging me on Reddit. So yeah,
don't bug him.
Don't
folks.
bug me on Reddit because you'll never figure out what it is.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. That's cool.
Yeah,
looking forward to
I'm
that.
so glad that they finished that game. I'm glad that they managed to get it all done because that flood was so like. Hearing about that was, like, really sad.
Yeah, that was sad. Yeah. I'd forgotten about that entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah. So. Anyway, so you want to move on to the next news?
I'll do the next
more
thing.
Pokemon news.
Yeah, I'll do the Pokemon news. Look, I sent you the skin to look at, too.
Oh, I did. I saw it. It's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I was so glad when
really
that dropped.
Cool.
Okay, so there has been another new Pokemon reveal. For Pokemon Sun and Moon. And you all know I love these. It's literally my favorite thing. So the Pokemon is called Salandit. It is a little salamander-looking Pokemon. It's black. It is Poison Fire type, which I don't think has ever been used before. So we're seeing another new type combination, which is also really exciting. And its ability... its ability was revealed. It's called Corrosion, and that's not in any of the other games. So I don't.
I think the ability is what they described in the trailer as it's this Pokemon's special thing.
Yes.
Which you go into on beneath it.
Yes. This Salandit's special thing is that it can poison all Pokemon types, including the previously unpoisonable Poison and Steel types. And in the video, it shows Salandit poisoning a Zubat, which is poison flying, and a Skarmory, which is steel flying. Normally, those two Pokemon would have been immune to poison-type moves, like completely immune. But Salandit actually uses Toxic on them, and they get poisoned and then take damage. And it's unclear how this is possible. It may have something to do with this corrosion ability.
I feel like that's exactly what it is. Corrosion, this ability makes it so that no Pokemon is immune to poison.
That's so cool.
That's game-changing right there.
It really is.
Huge.
I can't wait to see what this does to the metagame, and or if it evolves into something else and loses that ability, which I don't think it will. Yeah, because it's kind of, like, I'm going to use this word, but you know what, I don't mean it, like, derogatorily. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick ability.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean when I say that. I don't mean it as kind of as a bad thing. I mean it like this ability is a gimmick. I don't know how many other Pokemon are going to have this ability.
Probably not many.
But it's going to completely change the way the metagame works. Because Toxic Spikes and Toxic in the metagame are huge. And
hugely important.
And I know that for a long time, if somebody puts down Toxic Spikes, or you can read a Toxic... You just switch into your Scizor and tank it, and then you turn out of there for massive damage. And
yeah, pretty much.
And now that switch isn't safe anymore. You know, if the Salandit, I don't know how it's going to work. Like, does the Salandit just have to be in? Like, because then you could put down.
You mean like with the Toxic Spikes and stuff like that?
Yeah. So
I feel like
could you read a switch and send in your Salandit or Evolved form when the other guy's going to switch into his Scizor, and then having them both in at once will make the Scizor get toxic poison for the rest of the fight. Like, I don't know how it's going to work. That's going to be super cool.
Yeah, I really like.
I can't wait for the new. I can't wait for the new Pokemon.
I know this is the cool thing about this, because even if this Pokemon isn't great, this ability is worth building a team around.
Yes.
It's like, because you could make it just as this special support thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, just that ability alone is significant, I think.
Yeah.
Because doing chip damage to any Pokemon is what you always wanted. You always want that.
Yes. Any way to make that bar disappear is what you want to do.
Yeah. Especially because, like, even though the metagame is really crazy, because, you know, no one, when you're playing the game, it's going to take you hundreds of hours to get all the perfect IVs and all the EVs and stuff. But the thing is that strategies used in the metagame are used in actual, like, live competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see where this goes. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a cool design Pokemon too, so.
Yeah, it is pretty cool looking. It's got cool looking eyeballs. Like, it looks really evil, which I think fits with its thing of now nobody's safe from my poison.
Yeah,
that's like right. Twiddling his fingers.
Oh, can you imagine this in a double battle?
Oh, that
double
would
battle
be,
sets. Oh, that'd be great.
That would be nuts. Or like triple battle, rotation battle.
It's It'll be it's cool.
I love seeing the new Pokemon.
I know. I love Pokemon. This is great. Obviously we love Pokemon because we've just been talking about Pokemon Go.
We talked about Pokemon Go for like 40 minutes. And that's what was next on the docket for news, so we can actually skip that. We just Pokemon Go's out, go and pick it up. It's free. You don't have to you literally don't have to spend any money. There's a shop in there where you can buy stuff, but you don't have to use it. You can get a lot of stuff on your own. Just go walk around. Get out of your house. Go walk around. Have fun. See other people on the street with their Pokemon. Yep. You can all do it. You can do it too. It's free.
There have been some also hilarious stories. Like, I don't know how true this one is, but there was one about like how these 3 little kids like knocked on this person's door and were like, "Yeah, there's a Rhydon in your backyard. Can we go catch it?"
Yeah. Stuff like that. I know somebody that climbed a tree to try and find an Eevee. Like,
that's yeah, but the best part of the story was like I was so touched that I slammed the door in their face, ran to my backyard, and I got the Rhydon. and I was like, "Yep,
oh.
That sounds about right."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have an update on. Do you remember how Microsoft said that Xbox One was going to have a ton of backwards compatibility for digital games?
And it's kind of neat because they've included some games in there, but the thing is like, as soon as I heard that announcement, I was like, cool. Except there's going to be a bunch of games that I love that are never going to
get there. Well,
get there.
Microsoft has announced another game that you may or may not know of or enjoy, that's going to be available through Xbox One backwards compatibility. Red Dead Redemption and all its DLC is now available to pick up through that service.
And that's pretty cool. That game came out in 2010, and that hit a lot of Game of the Year awards.
Yes.
It was very well received. My brother just loves that game. He loved that, and then the Undead Nightmare that came out alongside it.
Yeah.
I mean, the games, like, there aren't really that many Westerns games.
No, there really aren't.
There aren't very many. I mean, I can think of, like, older games. I can think of, like, Hogan's Alley, the NES game, or Sunset Riders is another one that was, like...
Mad Dog
like
McCree.
Mad Dog McCree, yeah, that's right. But they're, like, in terms of recent releases, there just aren't that many. Gun is, like, the only other one I can think of. That came out, like, that was in the PS2 Xbox kind of era, and that one wasn't, like, really well received. And then I think there was Red Dead Revolver, which was the predecessor to this, but that was like nobody really talked about that even when it came out. But Red Dead Redemption was big because of the story and because of how this open world western that you get to live in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was really amazing. I remember sitting down and I watched a friend play it, where they were just, going out. Oh, hi, cat. My cat is saying hello.
Hi, cat.
Wow, he even responded there, even though he can't hear you because I've got headphones on. Hey, kitty. But yeah, I just remember watching friends like ride their horse through the desert, and it was really really cool. And that I like fell asleep while they were playing it, and they were like, apparently I was still commenting on it even though I was asleep. So that game I don't know. I don't even know. They were like, yeah, it was weird because you had your eyes closed, but you were like talking about it. He was like, I don't remember that. He was like, I don't remember that. So, yeah. But yeah, those games. The game is really really great. I really need to get around to play it. It's another one of those like
on the backlog. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not really too big into Rockstar stuff. Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, I've never been the big Grand Theft Auto person. It's never really interested me at all. But this game in particular, stood out to me.
Yeah, I've got GTA 5, but I need to install something, and my Xbox hard drive is like full, so I can't install it. So I haven't played it yet. It's just sitting there. I don't know if I really liked it. I played San Andreas. At my friend's house once, and that was a lot of fun. And then I also played Saints Row 2 as well, which was that was an experience. It's kind of like a Rockstar game, I suppose. Saints Row 2 is before it started getting all weird. It started getting weird in Saints Row the Third, and then by Saints Row 4, it was like full blown. Just we're doing our own thing.
Yeah, we're weird. Yeah, oh, dude, it was so. I remember seeing stuff about Saints Row the Third, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, they get weird. Well, because the thing is, with Saints Row 1, that game was like a buggy, glitchy mess, and it like took itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
So then I think they eventually were like, let's stop doing Grand Theft Auto and do our own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. Good to see that. Seeing some return to life again. People talking about that game again.
Yeah, people are definitely going to pick it up.
Absolutely. So this is kind of an interesting thing.
This is kind of jokey news, but
yeah. So there was a Call of Duty Roman Wars.
Yeah, it's like this. It was this rumor that got like quote unquote leaked that the next Call of Duty game was going to take place in like ancient Rome, where everybody.
This is the thing. The thing about it, yeah, it was like this. It was supposedly this Roman times game that was going to be. They were talking about being developed, and it was I think it was a while ago that this was originally considered. It was like a. Activision had like outsourced development for. They were kind of like looking around for like, oh, like does anyone else have an idea of stuff? And Vicarious Visions, who work on Skylanders, we're trying to form this concept for a possible Call of Duty spin-off or a Call of Duty type game where you use first and third person gameplay. And what are you doing over there? Oh, there's just like a lot of noise.
Oh, I had to rub my nose. My bad. I didn't realize that Mike picked it up.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was like.
Yeah,
like, whoa!
I guess I was like my shirt was rubbing on the microphone when I used my arm to. My nose was itchy.
Yeah,
my bad.
No, that's fine. I just all of a sudden was like hearing it. I was like, what am I hearing? So in any case, it yeah, so they were like, yeah, let's try to like form this Roman themed game like with like first and third person gameplay. and kind of the Call of Duty idea was, I don't know how much they embrace this concept in the newer ones. I guess they sort of do, but like the whole point of the old ones, where you would really get a taste of the war from different perspectives in the armies that were in them. So Call of Duty 1 and 2, you would fight in different fronts both in the United States military. You'd fight in the Russian military, and you would also fight in Great Britain, and you'd be in different ranks in all of them. And it was really cool to see the war from all the different World War II from all these different perspectives. And I think they kind of do that with the newer ones, but because the stories are all like nonsensical and made up, that I personally think you kind of lose a little something with them. But that's obviously just me.
Sure, history major.
But yeah, of course, I'd think that. But so I think they were trying to do that with this Roman spinoff. But yeah, Activision saw it and was like, nope. They're like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, we never said we wanted that. What?
Yeah, never really. Yeah, they never really wanted to take that any further. So.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny to see Activision just be like, why did you do this? Like,
see, I think it would have been cool.
I know.
Personally.
I'm a huge Rome nerd. I love Rome. I would have bought that. It would have been my first Call of Duty game.
That's why I really want Rise: Son of Rome.
Yeah.
Because even though I heard the game is kind of poopy, it looks awesome. I want to be
a Roman guy.
I want to be a Roman. I want to like. Yeah, my brother loves the Total War. No, like Rome Total War and or Rome 2.
Yes.
Yeah, he loves those. So, yeah, I mean, like, why not make more ancient world stuff? You know, where's Prince of Persia? Bring that back.
Yeah, Ubisoft, where's Prince of Persia? Give me that.
Yeah, give me some more Prince of Persia. Am I right? Come on. Give me some.
We're almost
bring
caught
Assassin's
up to
Creed back into.
We're almost caught up to modern times in Assassin's Creed. We need to bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. Go back to like Egypt or something.
Oh,
you know?
that would be so cool.
That would be super cool. There haven't been enough Egypt games. I think that would be cool.
No, there haven't.
I think in some of the there was the Assassin's Creed game where they were like the episodic one.
Yeah.
I know they did China, and I don't know where else they went.
I don't remember either.
Maybe they did I think they might have done the back to the Middle East.
Yeah.
But
I think they did Russia.
That would be cool too. Yeah.
I know that the Russia was a comic book. Assassin's Creed Russia was a visual novel.
Oh, a visual novel?
Like the
or just a comic book.
Comic book.
If it was a visual novel, that'd be amazing.
What's the word?
Embracing the...
No, it's comic book, and then they also get called what?
Graphic novels?
Graphic novel. There we go. I confused the first word.
Yeah, the visual novel. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious as to where they're going to go, because they took this year off in terms of releases because all their recent ones have been not so great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is probably a smart move.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to step back. I mean, when you release like a dozen games or like 15 games in a series in the span of 10 years,
12 years.
Yeah, you might want to just take a breather. No, the series has only been going almost, I think, 2007 is when it started.
So 9 years.
They've released at least 10 or 11 games.
So
I
there
think maybe
was
11 or 12.
Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood,
there was
Revelations.
There was a DS game.
3, 4, Unity Syndicate. 3. There's the one from New
Liberation.
3 Liberation, 4 Unity, and the one
Rogue.
Unity, Rogue, and
Syndicate.
That's 10, and then there was the DS one or the PSP one, PSP handheld.
I think it was a DS one.
Handheld one.
If I remember correctly.
The episodic one I think there was one more. So 12 or 13 games in 9 years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
For one series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot. Here we go, other games. Altair's Chronicles. I don't remember that. What was that? That was the DS one. Altair's Chronicles. Bloodlines, I think, was a PSP one. You're right, there was a PSP one. Oh, stop it. Now the cat's gonna bother me. Yeah, and then there was like some other iOS ones, but those don't really count, so...
iOS doesn't count after we spent most of this episode talking about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But like none of them like had really a story or anything. You know, they're just like little like multiplayer rearmed. Like that's like okay, you know, it's like a real time board game developed for the iOS. It's like, I mean, I guess technically they're using the license, but like I'm talking about like full fledged games. So those are all full fledged games, and I guess this year they're just spending on the movie.
Yeah.
With Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, with the Animus Claw.
Dude, the Animus Claw?
Oh,
see, that doesn't bug me. The only thing about the entire trailer that bugged me was using...
Kanye West?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I am God. I'm just like, no. No. Just no.
It's the
just no.
Spanish Inquisition.
I think that... I mean, I think that was kind of to imply that, like, how it's the focus of the story is in the present day. Because I think there's more... I mean, there's going to be more present-day stuff than there is past stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's a huge focus of the story of Assassin's Creed, but, you know... That's kind of frustrating when you get a used crap to advertise your movie like that, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, Assassin's Creed. We'll see where that goes. I think that if they go back to ancient, that'd be cool. Dude, if they did like Bible times, that'd be awesome.
Wonder how that would work.
Dude, like have like
the first. No, like, well, if you go back too far, Templars won't exist.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
so
dang it.
What would they?
They would probably have to be. They'd have to be. There'd be a way to do it. I'm sure there'd be like.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like the origins of what would become the Templar.
Well, now we have to go. I don't know enough about the history of the Templars.
Yeah.
To know what that could be.
I'm not sure. Boy, Cat, are you just gonna rustle my jimmies until you get what you want? I think that's probably what he's gonna do. All right, now he's scratching the furniture. Dang it.
Okay. We lost the plot about Call of Duty, but so let's just move on to the next thing.
I mean, it was kind of. I mean, it was whatever. It was a Roman thing that never happened.
Yeah, it was non-news.
Which would have been cool.
Yeah.
I think. So.
More news from Microsoft. Actually, they announced that all their self-published games will be available through Xbox Play Anywhere, which is their cross-play thing with the Windows 10. Starting with Recore on September 13th. That game comes out, or is slated to come out on September 13th. That will be the first game available on this Play Anywhere service. And it will also include the rest of the things that were announced at E3, like Forza Horizon 3 and Gears of War 4, and Cuphead as well. I know you're hyped for Cuphead, so looking forward to that. It'll be easier to pick these games up and play them, and I think it's cool that they're going to be supporting this new service that they spent so much time talking about. Actually, and kind of unlike what they did with when they launched the Xbox One, and they were like TV, sports TV, and then they just didn't do anything with it, and then had to shut that department down. Like, it looks like they're actually going to use this Play Anywhere thing that they were pushing.
I think that, I think it was a really terrible idea. That entire conference was a terrible idea.
Xbox, go home.
Yeah, that's basically what everyone said. Also, whatever happened to the Spielberg
Halo thing?
series?
Yeah, that's another good question, Alec. I wonder what happened to that.
I wonder if that got canceled and no one said anything about it.
Oh, maybe.
Because, like, they've released, like, there have been some Halo live-action stuff since then. There was the prequel to 5, which sort of introduced everybody to Spartan Locke.
Yeah.
It was one of the new Spartan 4s. But they didn't... which I guess, that was apparently really good. But I haven't heard anything about this series that is supposed to be being made, you know? Which is like, you know, it's like, what
was the name of it? Halo...
I don't even know if they had a name for it yet.
Oh, well.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
If they even had a...
we don't have
I don't
to,
know.
Yeah, we don't have to Google it. It says something that... Because if we don't remember the name, that means it actually doesn't exist. So...
Yeah, I apparently
yeah, but
not,
Cuphead's going to be on the Play Everywhere thing. Play Anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome. But, Cuphead's the bomb, diggity, yo. So...
You're so jive.
Oh, dude, I am with it, with the children.
All right, old man.
The lingo. I am an old man. You know what?
You really are. You've been an old man for the past 4 years.
I feel like, yeah, I really have. I feel like, even every time Elliot was like, I'm an old man and a young bride, I'm like, dude, you're just weird. I'm the old man of the floor.
Yeah.
So,
oh gosh! All right. Next piece of news. Talking about VR, like we did that one episode. I think episode 3 we talked about VR. Dead or Alive Extreme 3 VR support launching October 13th.
Oh my gosh! Why?
Because that's what people want to use VR for, Alec.
Yeah, it's for all your pervy desires.
To look at women in swimsuits.
You know, it's funny because this game didn't come out over here because they were afraid of backlash from
the skimpy outfits.
Which is like understandable.
Yeah.
You know, I guess in the sense that they didn't want to release it because like. I personally am not against them releasing it over here. I would be like, you know, whatever. People are into that sort of thing. That's fine. I like Dead or Alive. I really like Dead or Alive. I think
it's a good fighting game.
I think they've succeeded in their goal of making the best looking cast of characters you can find.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that they have to go to this extreme. See, using
this
extreme,
Dead or Alive Extreme 3.
Yeah, they don't have to go to this Dead or Alive Extreme. In order to prove that to everybody, but but no, they did. They thought it would be a good idea to make a third one because I guess there was enough interest in one. But it's interesting because one of the complaints of Dead or Alive Extreme 2 was that there's nothing to do, or very little to do.
Yeah, this is the beach volleyball one where you hang out on that island.
Yeah. Except apparently there's even less to do.
You get to go play beach volleyball. Play sand flag. I don't know what that thing is called. Flag racing, where you start laying down on your chest and you have to turn around and race to a flag and grab it. You can do that. You can do water skiing, jet skiing.
Jet skiing.
You can do butt bumping at the pool. You can do it you can run across the little floaties on the pool. You can.
All of these games are not fun, by the way.
You can go to the casino and gamble.
That's the most fun of the whole game.
You can go play roulette and blackjack, and then you can buy new swimsuits for your girl and send the other girls chocolate so that they become your friends. And that's the entire game.
Yeah, it's because I played the second one, because I got it for a friend as a gag gift for a Secret Santa one year.
Yeah,
but I wanted to try it because this game, it just is the most ridiculous game, and I was like, I just need to try this game. So I did, and I was playing it. I was getting a headache because I'm like, what am I doing? what am I supposed to do? Like, because there is zero indication as to like what the point of the game is.
No,
but
it's
basically
hang out on an island.
Yeah, you
it's
just
literally what would happen if you got brought to a tropical island paradise with no previous itinerary. If you showed up and you were just like, here is stuff to do, and then you're like, I don't really want to do any of this, but I'll do it. And
yeah.
What do I really want to do? I don't know. I can't do anything aside from these things. I'm just here. What do I do?
Yeah, and so based on who you pick in the cast, you have different like levels of affinity with other people, other of the cast members.
Yeah.
But none of this is told to you. You just kind of have to figure it out. So the whole game is trial and error.
The whole game
it's like
it's trying to figure out who likes you the most and how can you get them to be your friend and hang out with you.
Yeah,
That's
basically,
the whole game.
yeah, it's a friendship simulator.
Yeah.
with a bunch of scantily clad women
in bikinis on the beach.
Yeah,
playing volleyball.
It's like, it's just so bizarre.
All financed by one weird guy.
Yeah, Zach. I don't even think he shows up at all.
No, he might be in like the opening.
One.
I think there's an opening cutscene or like an intro cutscene, right?
No, in Extreme 3, he's not in it at all. There's not. I don't even think they have an opening cutscene.
Does he still send gifts though?
I don't know. I don't think. From what I've heard, like what I was saying, I've heard this has less content than the second one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But
it's
they
like,
pioneered new physics for like hair and stuff.
and stuff.
They put out that. Remember, you and I both saw that tech demo of their new physics engine. And it was pretty realistic.
It was pretty good, except for the volleyball with
the volleyball of
mass.
infinite mass. Yeah, the unbendable volleyball.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But it's also a weird game because like not only is it void of initiative, void of player initiative, it has a lot of. Not a lot of, but the tech that goes into making it, like the experience that they hope it will be, like all of the physics tech. Why can't any other game figure that out? Why can't any other company use that? Why can't any other company work to get those sorts of engines running and improve the overall gaming industry? Why is this isolated to this one weird?
Team Ninja?
Why is this isolated to Team Ninja? Why can't we get another game that has physics that actually work?
I don't know, because they're just weird, and they just are concerned with that.
They're concerned with Dead or Alive Extreme.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, they need to go back and get Ninja Gaiden stuff again.
With those physics. Oh yeah, Ryu Hayabusa's ribbons are going to look so sick.
The one thing that I kind of thought was cool about the Ninja Gaiden is that he was starting to include characters from the Dead or Alive series in it.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
And Ryu was in Dead or Alive 5.
Yeah. And I like that because, honestly, I think the story of Dead or Alive is actually kind of cool to the extent that, I would kind of like an action game featuring characters in it. Not just a fighting game. Like an action game with all the characters in it, I think would be cool. But I doubt that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Except for it maybe because you can play as Ayane and Mojimi in Dead or Alive, in Ninja Gaiden 3.
Yeah.
Gee, the freaking phone's ringing again. Actually, that's probably my parents telling me that they're home safe. I'm going to cut in here, so we'll be back in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're back. Yeah.
We are back.
Yeah. Okay. So. I don't really know what we were talking about, but whatever.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about Dead or Alive, but
I
mean, that's pretty much.
It's coming to VR October 13th.
So I'm not gonna buy that. I wouldn't.
I'm not either because neither of us want VR yet. So
yeah, but I mean, it's Dead or Alive Extreme 3 VR. I mean, you can, like I said, you can't even technically buy that game here. You have to order it off PlayAsia in order to get a copy that works.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Oh well.
So anyway. Oh well.
What do we have next? Oh, here you go. You want to take this one?
Yeah, Square Enix reveals they have no plans to release Star Ocean Second Evolution in the West. This is kind of too bad to hear because Second Evolution was a remake of Star Ocean: The Second Story. They came out on the PSP, but they have been porting it to the PS4 and Vita. But he, the director of this, or the producer of Square Enix, Shuichi Kobayashi, was basically saying that they envisioned that this port only be released in Japan, and he hasn't really felt like doing anything more with the remakes of the franchise in the West anymore. So it's kind of too bad. I think second story and Second Evolution are kind of the people seem to really like that game. I was just went to GameStop the other day and a guy was picking up Star Ocean 5, and I was like, "Hey, you've got some good taste in games." And he said, "Oh yeah, I love the second story. Like that's my favorite one." And I know I've come across other Star Ocean fans that say the second story is their favorite. So, so it's kind of too bad when there's niche games like this that don't see the light of day on the West. But generally when fans have an outcry, like not necessarily like a big petition or anything, or like a big campaign or movement, but like if enough fans let them know that they want the game, then sometimes they've been known to change their minds about stuff. So
yeah,
so that's actually how Dead or Alive Extreme 3 got the availability to be brought to the West at all.
Yeah,
they originally were not planning. They were originally going to be an Asian version, like they were going to make it would be able to use in Japan and China. There'd be like a Chinese version, but they weren't going to ever release it in the West anywhere. But then they decided when there was enough people saying that we want it over here, they were like, okay, we'll just make a region-free version of the game. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe it will come. They're saying they don't really have plans right now to do it, but I guess maybe they could be persuaded, I guess you could say. So,
and I hope it comes over for everybody who's a fan of it, but also I'm thinking in the back of my mind about Phantasy Star Online 2, which people have really wanted in the West, and it's just not coming.
Yeah.
And
I know people that downloaded the Japanese. I know people that have played the Japanese version of that.
Yeah, because it's not coming out here, and I doubt it ever will. Just it's been too long for them to now suddenly be like, you know what? Sure, here you go. So while I hope that people who enjoy this game in the West will get a chance to play a Western version, there's a precedent for it not happening.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of disappointing. The cynic in me looks at that and goes, "Well, there you go."
Phantasy Star is a little different because it's Sega, but even still, like there's Phantasy Star is like, people. That's more speaking to the fans making them change their mind thing.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Because there are people who want Phantasy Star.
Yeah, they really, really want their Phantasy Star.
They're just like, nope, it's not coming out there, guys. Too bad.
Yeah.
Import it.
Yeah. But so it's too bad. Maybe they'll do something where there'll be an English language patch though, so people can soft mod their consoles and be able to play it. So I don't know. That's also been known to happen. I think that's actually how my friends have been able to play Phantasy Star Online too. But
what do you mean? What do you mean they didn't get the official release? What?
Yeah, I know, right? It's,
everybody's clean cut and perfect.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's too bad. Too bad for the Star Ocean fans.
Merp.
There's one more thing on here.
Yeah, I added this in at the 11th hour when we were doing show notes. So there's a Kickstarter. I know we sort of like mentioned offhand last week that Kickstarters are kind of on the decline in terms of games, like video games. Board games are like way on the uprise, by the way.
Yes.
Board games
Dark
are
Souls
like huge.
board game looks sick.
Oh yeah, dude, I love board games, and I can see why people. I can see the appeal. I can see why people are like getting really back into board games and stuff, and card games, and Cards Against Humanity, and all those type of games. But not only that, but like actual board games and stuff are really on the rise. But this one like stands out to me because it is a spiritual successor to Shadow of the Colossus, which is one of my favorite games that came out ever. So it's cool. They've like set the setting is like a desolate, like frozen wasteland kind of. So there's a lot of like it's snowy, which is very unlike Shadow of the Colossus already.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a dynamic like day-night cycle, and I think there's going to be some additional weather stuff. They show on the Kickstarter page, which is like they already have some like early builds of the game, and it looks really nice, honestly, for being
that monster
early.
looks like an angel from Ava.
Yeah, doesn't it?
That looks like
does.
the first or the second angel. Whatever the first angel they fight is.
Yeah, the thing with the skull mask, you mean?
Yeah, that looks exactly like it, except with a griffin.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does kind of look a little similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the game is called Prey for the Gods, rather. But not prey as in like the kind where you're,
like you go like going to church pray.
Yeah.
It's
No,
prey
this
as in like eating.
Yeah.
Being hunted.
Yeah, which is it is kind of a play on the words because the logo itself has the E is someone kneeling and praying.
Yeah.
And the pitch for the Kickstarter is Prey for the Gods is an actual action survival game set on a desolate frozen island. To survive, you must destroy the very gods you believe in. And it's like, ooh, that's that sounds pretty hefty right there,
Yeah, for real.
So they're very, very Shadow of the Colossus-y in like huge titanic beasts that you're fighting and that you have to fell. And I know you talked about this. Your philosophy is you like the smaller enemies, but I also remember you saying that Shadow of the Colossus was kind of the one exception where you.
Yes, this is
where
the
you
one
enjoyed
exception to large enemy fights. Shadow of Colossus is
because the
probably
whole
the
game
only
is
large enemy fight I like.
Because the whole game is kind of built around it.
Yeah. And everything that you do is meant for it. It's not a DPS race against something that's just huge. You actually have to use game skills to try and solve a puzzle of beating them. In the same way, in a similar vein of fighting a character that's your size that requires you to use your ability to play the game and use your skills. So, like, I'm thinking Dante and Virgil. I'm thinking Bayonetta and John. Those sorts of fights are more appealing to me than God of War, than some most Dark Souls bosses that are just, they're big and they hit you harder than you can hit them. So just try and run away and whack them until they die. But Shadow of the Colossus is a puzzle to beat them. You have to solve each giant thing's puzzle by climbing on them and using your tools and all sorts of stuff. The environment too, like, I think it's just extraordinarily well done from what I've seen and from what I've played. I've beaten 3 Colossi. So, just like playing at a friend's house. So seeing that this game is trying to emulate that experience, it does excite me. But it is on Kickstarter, so one of my other philosophies comes into play of never pay for something unless they're going to hand it to you immediately.
Exactly.
Never trust anybody to follow through. Always assume people are trying to take your money.
Right. So this is still over a year out in terms of
December 2017 is the
Yeah, that's their
estimated delivery.
estimate. So, I mean, they do have people with some sort of, they have a little bit of backgrounds in some of their stuff, but they're relatively young and they're relatively new to the scene. So that's a little like, it does kind of, yeah. It looks promising. I will give it that. I think this is one of the most promising I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you kind of make a stir when you say we're making a second, basically a second Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think they really even mention Shadow of the Colossus at all in it. Probably to avoid some sort of
C and D.
Yeah, but there's definite the influence is very obvious.
Yes,
it's very obvious. Even the way the character moves and stuff.
Mm-hmm. This angle, the thumbnail for the official reveal trailer that I'm looking at, that angle looks exactly like what's his name using his bow.
Yeah, Wander
using his bow. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, it is. It looks really cool. I mean, it looks just as impressive as Shadow of the Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics of this are quite impressive.
The graphics
in the little demo stuff they're showing.
How's it doing in terms of money? Okay, so 4,888 backers. They've raised 160,027 out of 300,000 with 26 days to go. So it's over halfway funded.
It's doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is. I feel like if this had come out like a couple years ago, it would be funded already.
Yeah.
Again, there is there's a little bit of hesitance to fund stuff like this.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising. I think it's going to meet. I have no doubts that this is going to meet the budget.
I mean, 26 days, people are going to hear about it and put money into it.
Yeah.
Also, if it had come out...
I have to say I am tempted to.
If it had come... I'm not going to because
I know you won't. I know.
But if this was coming out a couple of years ago before Last Guardian was actually, said, like, it's coming for real...
it would have been funded immediately.
It would have been funded pretty much immediately because everybody would have been rabid for... Every rabid person who was foaming for Last Guardian and didn't get it would have heard about this and paid for it. So I think that the timing of it being coinciding with the other studio coming out with like the quote unquote real sequel or whatever,
the real successor
might have hurt its funding timeline a little bit, but I believe it'll still make it because there are enough people who would want this.
I mean, the thing about The Last Guardian is that from what we've seen of it, it seems a lot more in line with Eco than Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
Eco has more of an exploration and like storytelling approach to how puzzles, I guess, are really kind of navigating your way through this massive castle. Whereas Shadow of the Colossus had more of a focus on lonely exploration and combat.
Yes.
So the puzzles were built into the combat.
Yeah.
And with Eco, it seems again, or with The Last Guardian, it seems again to be more tied into the environment. But they're also keeping it under wraps, which is nice because these games are so
experiential.
So yes, they're so based on an experience that I don't blame them for wanting to not show you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll be cool. It's cool. It's cool to see more games like this. They're saying that the way that they want to launch the game with this $300K budget, that they will launch with 5 bosses. So there's going to be a range of different creatures. They say they already have bipedal, quadruped, and flying types planned out. But they have a bunch of stretch goals where they're going to potentially add more bosses to the game. So at 3 and 25K, they're going to add new animations to the game that they wouldn't have if they didn't have it, which I don't really understand that one. Like, I don't know why that requires $25,000 more dollars, but 50K is additional weapons. They'll add more armor and stuff to wear. They'll expand environments with more money. They'll have an orchestra record the score of the game at the 500K mark, and you know what? I like that. I kind of hope it gets to that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the really beautiful things about Shadow of the Colossus is that soundtrack. Really, really great soundtrack. When your game is just quiet and doesn't have any dialogue, you kind of need music to be able to back it up like that. So, but they don't have extra bosses until 700K. So I don't know if we'll ever get. I have my doubts if it'll ever get that high.
Yeah,
I don't think this is gonna. I don't know. I don't have very much confidence this is gonna get over 1 million, which is what their last stretch goal is at. So they have bosses at each 700, 800, and 900K. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But the thing is if it does reach those, goals, oh, excuse me, where that yawn hit me from. But if it does reach those goals, those are going to be free. Those will come out free to all backers.
Mm-hmm.
If that's free to backers, though, that means it's not free to everybody. That's too bad. But I don't think the game's not going to be. It's going to be when it comes out, it's a digital release for $15. So that's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a game that looks this nice, but so anyway, that's just my kind of spiel on that. I think it looks cool. Definitely check it out if you like Shadow of the Colossus, because I think it's definitely a spiritual successor.
Nice. I'm reading the reward tier things.
Yeah. They're not as ooh exciting as like a lot of the other ones have been. Like, I don't know if you saw like
there's some cool stuff in here, and I like.
Oh yeah, it's cool. I'm not saying it's not, but yeah.
Oh, it sold out of. Sorry, I'm reading. What's next? Okay, so
that's it for games. We have some anime news to get.
Just four little anime things we can get to. So first one comes to us from. Most of these come from Anime News Network, but it says that the Sword Art Online film is set to play in 150 Japanese theaters in 2017. The Dengeki Hobby website revealed that the Sword Art Online movie, Ordinal Scale, will premiere in over 150 theaters in Japan, and tickets are available to pre-order on July 16th. And they will come with a oversized poster. Aniplex presented a English sub trailer during Anime Expo, and this film will be coming out next year in the spring. It's an original story taking place after the Mother's Rosario arc, which is the end of the second season, and the light novel author is writing the new story for the film. So I saw a little bit of art for it, and it looks like it might be taking place in a new game.
That'd be cool.
Because they have kind of different costumes, and they've got these cool little like headset things. And so I feel like we end up talking about Sword Art a lot, just on tangents, talking about like when stuff goes wrong, we end up talking about Sword Art. But now we're actually going to talk about Sword Art, and like that promo art that I saw that was connected to this, and they have the subtitled trailer, which I haven't seen, but I just saw a little like thumbnail, and I mean, I can't say I dislike the art style.
See, that's
and the art direction. I can't say I dislike the art direction. I dislike a lot of other stuff about the show, but visually it looks fine.
Yeah, that's kind of the frustrating part about like a lot of the stuff that has to do with the show because it looks really great and like it's just very appealing to watch in the sense that you're just the stuff you're seeing
Yeah.
is nice to look at.
Yes.
And the action is like really do a pretty good job with it.
Yeah.
But like it disappoints me. The story's always disappointing.
The story's so disappointing. So this new movie then is going to be written by the same guy that wrote the whole rest of it.
Yeah, which is a little daunting, but maybe a movie format would work better than
a serialized television
light
program.
Or his little light novels.
Yeah, a movie would. I agree. I think a movie would help story flow a lot. If you supercut the first half of Sword Art Online first season and made the Sword Art Online arc its own movie, that would actually be a good watch. And then Alfheim would be garbage, and Gun-Gale would be horrible trash. But
I've actually the thing is I've never seen. I still haven't seen the whole entirety of the second season. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Oh, it was
it's trash.
Okay. That's too bad. I mean, I like the look of it. I like Sinon or whatever her name is.
Yeah,
Sion,
she's a more compelling character than Kirito could ever hope to be, and she's more interesting than post-nerf Asuna. Yeah.
I guess if that's the most glowing review you can get, then I still want to give it a chance because I had friends that say they enjoyed it for what it was anyway. So.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear about your friends.
Oh, gee.
Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's rude. I apologize. That's very rude of me to say, but I thought it would be funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. If they're listening, I'm sure they probably find it funny too.
Yeah, well, somebody has said something equivalent to that to me before, and it actually really made me upset. So I don't want to be that guy to somebody else. So yeah, that movie's going to be coming out next year. Yuki Kajiura is returning to score the music. So apparently she, I think it's a she.
That's a highlight.
SAO's music was actually pretty good too. Art direction and music. So, the art direction looks good. They've got the music person back. Yeah. And that's coming out next year. You can get your tickets to go see it in Japan on
if you really want to.
On the 16th of July of 2016. So yeah.
Cool.
Sword Art Online. Next, we've got some news coming out of Vancouver, actually.
No, this is really exciting to me.
Yes.
And actually, even though this is like looking at, maybe not anymore. I just saw a little bit. I was like, okay, so I'm seeing it. I was like, I'm actually liking what they're doing, kind of with what they're doing with L holding this conference. What seems to be L holding a police conference. But then I noticed that they changed Light Yagami's name, and that made me a little mad.
Light Turner.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
So this whole thing's going to take place in the West now.
But why?
It's a Netflix original series. Or not Netflix original, but Netflix sponsored series. They are currently filming it in Vancouver, British Columbia. They have some images of what appears to be Light, or not Light, L, holding a police conference in front of a podium that says Seattle Police. So, yeah, it looks like it's taking place in Seattle and not Japan.
In the most hipster place that you could think
of.
Except that isn't Portland. That isn't Portland, though.
It isn't Portland. Yeah. But think about how Light is. He'd probably fit in a hipster place.
Yeah, no, he would. I guan, I guess all the ladies would,
They'd all be like, oh, he's so...
it's gonna have Nat Wolff, and I mean, I guess I don't know what his face looks like anymore. I just remember when he was. Oh, there's his face. Nat Wolff, as Light Turner.
Light Turner.
Light Turner.
Yeah, red hair on him. I could see it.
Do you think? Oh, do you? Okay. Here's another question: Are they gonna get? Are the
Shinigami gonna be in it? That's the question you need to ask.
That is the question I need to ask. Another question I need to ask is: Elle gonna be British?
It's a good question too.
Keith Stanfield was in Short Term 12 and Straight Outta Compton. So Elle's black.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's cool. But is he going to be British? That's the most important thing. He's going to be British.
Yeah. So here's another thing we can talk about.
Who's Mia Sutton? Why is Watari? Why does he get to stay the same, but nobody else does?
Watari?
Okay, I'm starting to get a little angry here. Yeah, remember Watari?
Yeah, I remember Watari, but why does he get to stay the same? Where did you pull
Japanese?
That from?
He's Japanese. On that article you linked, they have a cast list. Apparently this was all announced last month, a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even hear about it.
Why is Watari still Japanese?
Yeah, no one else is, but he is.
Wait a second. I just clicked the thing.
So who? Margaret Qualley is Mia Sutton.
Okay, so
who's Mia Sutton?
This has now entered into the same realm of, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this way? Why couldn't you have just gotten Asian actors to play these Asian characters? What?
And set it in Japan and
put it in Tokyo. Like, why couldn't you do that? Why does it have to be in the West? Why not if you want to tell the story that there is. Tell the story that exists.
There better be. I swear, they really do. All of this stuff is frustrating, but if you keep the supernatural element intact, I'll be a little bit more.
I remember
graceful.
Hearing something about some Death Note live action thing. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No. I guess I'm kind of interrupting you. But when Shane Black first was attached to the film, Shane Black being the director of Iron Man 3. I think he directed, what was that movie? We were just talking about him recently, actually, on one of the episodes. He directed something. Crap. Yeah, he was attached to the movie at one point, and he was very insistent because the studio was saying, yeah, we're going to get rid of, like, Ryuk and the Shimigami, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
You
can't do that.
You can't do that because you need to keep that as
That's
part of
literally the plot.
Oh, the Nice Guys. That was with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Oh
yeah. Which I heard was spectacular. Very good comedy.
You can't get rid of Ryuk. You can't.
No, you really can't, and I hope they don't.
I hope
they don't. I was getting kind of excited but now
you're
seeing the
unhyped.
screenshots. But now I'm unhyped immediately after seeing that.
I maintained a level of non-hype because why not just, if you're going to tell the story, have them be Asian and put it in Tokyo? I got less hype the more that was revealed to me as well. So I'm now anti-hype for this. The same way I'm anti-hype for the Full Metal Alchemist thing. I don't want it to come out now. I don't want either of them to come out.
Adam Wingard, who directed The Guest and You're Next, neither of which I've heard of at all. Jeremy Slater wrote a new draft of the screenplay. He wrote 2015's Fantastic Four and the Lazarus Effect. Oh no!
My soul left my body.
No! Oh no! That's both of those are really bad signs because Fantastic Four was a mess. The Lazarus Effect was also a mess.
Oh no! Oh
yeah!
No!
Apparently critically acclaimed indie, at least The Guest and You're Next apparently are like critically acclaimed indie films.
Throw this hype train straight into reverse and get the heck out of here, boys. we're done with this movie. We're done with this topic. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, this is sad. It's sad.
Let's move on
Why
to the
would
next
you do this
thing.
to
Actually, I'm going to read the thing that I have last on the docket before what is actually listed next, because we can kind of use that to wrap up. The next thing we're going to talk about is Gintama. The manga is entering its final arc, coming up with this new run that it's going to go on. It's the author says that the 63rd volume of the manga that he's going to start. He started in March. Would be the final arc, and he doesn't know exactly when he's going to end it, be it the end of this year or the start of next. But following this, that's it. Gintama is over. Gintama is another one of those really long-running shonen series, in the same vein as One Piece and Bleach and Naruto and Dragon Ball. That just ran forever, and it's had a ton of different anime adaptations that have all gone for like over 200 something episodes. It began in 2004, and it's ranked among the top selling manga in Japan with over 5 million copies in print. And they've been putting out television series since 2006 that ran up until 2013. With a new series starting last year. So all of that is, much like Naruto, it all has to end at some point. So following this arc, it'll all be over. And it will be sort of celebrated with a live-action film that will premiere in Japan next year in 2017. So we're entering into this era of all these old long-running shonen are starting to wrap up, which is kind of equal parts sad and exciting because we will get to see what takes their place, but also mainstays of this genre are getting old and they're wrapping up. These stories are reaching climaxes. I
don't know. It is. I agree. It's sort of bittersweet for sure. So,
have you ever seen Gintama?
I haven't, but apparently the people who... It's always like number 1 or number 2 on my anime list. Yeah. So clearly the people... It's like always like never really that many people. It always has like a 50,000 people have it on their list.
Yeah.
As opposed to Full Metal's like 600,000.
Yeah.
So... It's funny because it's like, well, I mean, the people who love it really love it, but that's the thing. The people who love it really, really love it.
Yeah.
Because I guess it's kind of like a comedy.
It is a comedy.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of clips and compilation things of stuff that happens, and it does seem to be played more like like a comedy. Like they break the fourth wall and talk about the sound effects that are floating around the screen and stuff, and I'm sure that might happen in the manga, and just there's a lot of like poop jokes and like raunchy comedy, and it is something that I think I would enjoy watching, and I put it on my to watch list. And now that it's wrapping up, I have more of an impetus to do it because I usually wait till stuff ends anyway, so perfect, now it's time for me. This is when it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
So that's...
Now that there's it can be kind of daunting when there's like, oh, yeah, it's still going on, there's no end in sight. You know?
Yeah, so. Like Berserk. I still did though.
Or One Piece.
One Piece, where Oda's like,
I don't know, I'll finish it someday, I guess.
One Piece?
Yeah.
Oh, Dubs, you're the man.
Yeah, you're a trooper.
You are a real trooper. Okay, so, yeah, Gintama's ending. Let's talk about this last thing to wrap up our anime section. Just a little bit of kind of a fun note from Anime Expo. The Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation announced on Wednesday that this year's Anime Expo convention had 100,420 unique attendees, which is a 10% increase over last year's number.
That's nuts.
And set a new attendance record for the convention. The convention marked the turnstile attendance at 304,799, which is a 15% increase from last year. That is super cool to hear. That many different unique people went to the convention, and I'm sure that had something to do with the people that they managed to get, like the Cowboy Bebop cast and that one other guy that you said,
Kotaro Uchikoshi.
Yes,
I feel like those definitely contributed. I feel like there's just in general there's an increase in interest in Japan and anime related stuff for sure. You see it more and more at cons and things too. So I mean, this is a convention, but like this is an anime specific one.
Yeah. And
yeah, so that's cool.
And so if these numbers had something, if these numbers had something to do with the people that were there, the increase in numbers will attract more people to come and like be at like celebrities, which will in turn increase the number of attendees, which will in turn increase the types of celebrities that they can get, and so on and so forth. So every time a convention like this grows, it's exciting because it means more people with interest are able to go and do stuff and just help overall the whole community continue to grow and flourish and get noticed for just the sheer amount of support it has.
Yeah.
So very cool news to hear that many people were able to make it out to Anime Expo.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Someday
one day.
Go. But who knows?
One day in the future. Here, you can take the last news bit we have for today. You can take it.
The last little bit we have is that Wreck-It Ralph 2... Now, this was actually announced a while ago, but we never really covered it, and I feel like we should just talk a little bit about it. We're probably not too in-depth as we're sort of running out of steam here, but...
Yeah, we're pushing our clock.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph, the sequel...
I'm gonna wreck it.
...has been finally... I mean, they basically have stated since the first one came out that they've wanted to make a second one. But they've officially announced that the sequel is coming out March 2018. And
March 2018.
2018, yes. March 2018.
March 9th, 2018.
Yes. So
there you go.
That's pretty rad. You know why? Because March 9th is the day Final Fantasy 13 came out. Yes, I remember it. So, anyway, Wreck-It Ralph 2. They announced it during a big Facebook Live stream that they were making with, I think, both the producer, I think John C. Reilly was there too.
Yep.
They kind of were all talking about it. So, because Reilly kind of had some input in terms of like things the character said and did in the first one.
Yeah.
Where he was like kind of like surprised because he was like he went in to like do recording and stuff and he thought everything was gonna be set in stone, but it was like, no, we really want to hear like what you have to say, and so he was like, oh, cool. Let's see. So interesting things about this one. Things I'm not necessarily like. I don't really understand like what exactly they're going to do with that, but they're going to be going to the internet in this one.
Yeah, the promo image has Wreck-It Ralph standing on top of a World Wide Web with sites such as LubHub, Google, like you with an umlaut, Amazing, like Amazon.
It's Amazon.
Pictopedia, and then like... one with a triple X on it.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, what is that? I can't read that.
There's Bunkbox.
Yeah, there's...
Jiffy.
That triple X, that's a little weird. That's weird for a children's film, but I mean, there are very dark and horrible places on the internet, so I'm sure there's going to be some sort of joke made about that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so the film is basically John C. Reilly summed it up as Ralph leaves the arcade and wrecks the internet. And that sounds funny. more confirmed that Mario was absent from the original film. 'Cause, yeah, so the first film, as everyone who may have seen it has or have heard of it would know, Wreck-It Ralph is supposedly this arcade game character from back in the 80s, and sort of like he goes on this adventure, going through all different sorts of arcade games and more modern ones, and it was really cool. It was a great game, great movie rather.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, a lot of in jokes for game fans, like with little Easter eggs and things hidden in different parts of it.
Yeah.
It was good for DVD viewing because you can pause it and see like, oh yeah, look at that.
You're like, look, there's Pac-Man in the background.
So they had a lot of cool things with different characters, like the one that everybody probably saw was the sort of like the villain like AA meeting.
Yeah. Villains Anonymous or whatever.
Yeah, whatever they called it, where they had like Bowser and Dr. Eggman and like a lot of these other like villains. Zangief.
Yeah, Zangief
from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they had like lots of villains and stuff like that showed up at that, and he was like, I don't want to be a bad guy anymore, and they were like, what? What is this nonsense? But there was also like lots of other stuff, like Sonic the Hedgehog was there. I remember seeing him. Q*bert, of course, made quite a little appearance in it.
Ryu was in it. Did you already say that?
Oh, no, I think I said Zangief, but yeah, Ryu was in it. Yeah, lots of like little cameos and things for. Oh, M. Bison was in that. Was in that meeting.
The support group thing. Villains.
Yeah.
The villain support group.
Yeah. So, so they've said so they couldn't get Mario in it. They got Bowser because I guess that's a lot of money probably to try to get rights to Mario in the film, but he had said like a long time ago, back when the movie first came out, they said if they wanted to when they made a sequel, they wanted to put Mario in it, because Nintendo said no, or it was too much money or something.
No, it's Mario. Rich Moore confirmed that Mario was absent from the original film because he could not find a place for Mario in the story, not because Nintendo refused to allow Mario to be in the film.
I guess that makes sense. If you the original story, that would be hard to find a place for Mario in.
Yeah,
especially because Wreck-It Ralph is very much like Ralph and Fix-It Felix are very much a Mario and Donkey Kong dynamic.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. But it does have Ralph and Vanellope von Schweetz, who was played by what was her name?
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, and I don't really care much for Sarah Silverman, but she did a great voice acting job as that.
Yes. She
has a very distinct voice, so it works.
It does work.
And I really liked it. But anyway, I think I'm pretty excited. I'm glad to see that this is seeing the light of day. Like they said it was going to, but there hadn't really been too much about it recently. But so I'm excited. I do want to. I hope there's some game stuff still there, though. I mean, not too much just about the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want it to be all memes.
Oh boy, like Trollface.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking when I hear he wrecks the internet. I think about that, like Kim Kardashian trying to make up a meme of herself breaking the internet. Shiba Inu. Wow. Such Wreck-It.
Yeah. Such Wreck-It. much Ralph. Wow.
Oh, I hope it's not that.
Yeah. Me too.
I get enough memes in my daily life. I don't need to watch a meme movie.
That's what I've heard that new Powerpuff Girls uses like outdated like Trollface meme.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, it's like why?
Samurai Jack is rated TVMA.
Wait, the new one?
Yeah.
Is there a new one?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They got the TVMA rating, so there's going to be like Real Samurai and Samurai Jack. I'm so pumped.
That show already did have like a mass appeal, like a kind of an adult appeal to it.
Yeah, and now
it was a kids show.
Yeah,
now I guess they're really embracing
and now it's rated as an adult show, and they can do adult show stuff. It's going to be great. It's going to be on Adult Swim, I think.
Too bad for the kiddos, but they still got the original Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
So. They're taking a Samurai Jack away from us.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Give
Whatever.
Yeah, too bad for you. Grow up, little nerd.
Yeah. Light Turner. I can't get over that.
Oh gosh. All right.
Light Turner.
That wraps it up for the news, and we don't really have much else to talk about. Is there anything you're looking forward to doing this week?
Whew, I don't know. Playing some games. I'm probably gonna have some. I'm gonna have some friends over on Saturday night. One of my friends from around the area is shipping off to the Navy next Sunday.
Oh, well, good luck to him.
So yeah, absolutely. You know, gonna miss him while he's off of boot camp.
Yeah.
And he's he's training to be a medic. So
cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Good for him.
Yeah. So gonna miss him. It's a fun guy. My friend Jordan, I've known him for a really long time, but we didn't really become friends until a couple years ago. So, but that was cool getting to know him and stuff because we worked at the same place for a couple years. Mm-hmm. So, but it'll be it'll be good to have him back one last time. We're gonna do like fireworks and stuff. So. Yeah,
nice.
Because you can do that in New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm not allowed.
Yeah,
being in Massachusetts and all.
Lame.
Well, cool.
How about you? You anything coming up for you?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna play more Overwatch. I'm gonna play more Pokemon Go. I'm gonna try and watch more Ranma and Deadman because I didn't watch any of that this week.
Yeah, I didn't watch practically anything. Oh, I did finish Archer though. We finished Archer finally.
Hey, there you go.
And we've moved on to Firefly and Arrested Development.
Fun stuff.
So,
yeah,
indeed.
I'm gonna have to get back on my Dead Man Wonderland train. I went to GameStop and I picked up a bunch of DS games for like $1 each. Hold on, let me get the bag. I got Ben 10.
Yeah.
Here, let me read these things. Oh, I went and I picked up Dark Souls 3. You can hear me rifling through my stuff. I picked up Dark Souls 3 just so I could have it for eventually when I play it. I got Lego Indiana Jones.
Nice.
I got Ben 10 Protector of Earth. And I got Avatar The Last Airbender The Burning Earth.
Oh, boy.
All for under $1. And then, yeah, Dark Souls 3. I actually got a used version of the Day 1 edition for PS4.
Oh, cool.
So it's got a cool little sleeve. Seems to be all in working order, though, with the official soundtrack inside, and it looks like there's a small poster. So, yeah.
Sweet,
looking forward to that eventually when I finish Dark 1. I have some stuff that I could do this week, but let's be real, I'm going to play a lot more Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this week. Oh, and my friends and I, so yesterday, speaking of Pokemon Go, my friends and I was hanging out with them we were just having a small party, and we all had Pokemon Go, and we were like, do you want to just go walk around and find Pokemon and stuff? And we all just were like, yeah, sure. So 3 of us went and walked 3 miles. Did I ever tell this story? Not on air. I probably told you beforehand.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But we walked 3 miles to downtown because he kind of lives on the outside of town. We walked straight into downtown where I kind of live, and just caught Pokemon and went to all the Pokestops and got items and stuff and hatched eggs and figured out the game, and it was the most fun I think I've had doing pretty much relatively nothing, you know what I mean? We were just wandering around like street urchins, and it was a blast. We're gonna try and go on the weekends to different bigger populated areas around where I live, the North Shore, and just Pokemon Go. So next Saturday we might go into Beverly and just walk around Beverly and do Pokemon Go, or we might go into Salem or out onto the Cape and do Rockport or something like that. So we're gonna try.
That sounds really.
We're gonna
fun.
try and make it like a weekend thing for just the three of us because we all kind of live in the same. We all live within like 3 miles of each other, like 5-minute drive from each other. So I'll go pick everybody up and we'll go do Pokemon Go out on the streets. So I'm looking forward to that next weekend as well, and I'll probably hang out with one of them on like Wednesday or something. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this week.
Well, nice. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
For sure.
And with that, I think we can call it for the night, huh?
Yeah, that wraps it up. You can find us on Facebook, Shonen Grump. We dropped the unnecessary thing on it, so you just find it facebook.com/Shonen Grump,
Mm-hmm.
or just search us for Shonen Grump and you'll find
Yep.
us. And yeah, we're there. It's kind of bad because we haven't like updated people like where is our episode, but we don't really have too many active people on there, and our post count is or our reach count isn't very large.
Yeah.
So
We get about as many
but-
reached people as we do views on the YouTube videos. So
yeah, so we'll keep you updated on there as to things and such.
mhm.
And yeah, look forward to more episodes coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's all I got to say.
And with that, we stumbled to the end, having completely burned ourselves out.
All right, that'll be $4.99 plus tax.
Come again. Happy to serve you. All right.
Okay,
See you
have a
later.
great day.
See you later, people.
Bye. Have a wonderful time. Bye.